A new world, new allies, and maybe too much love. What if Issei made a harem with the Yashahime girls?
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Made Harem with Yashahime Girls movie. Before we start, please go support Josu Sickle 5 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken characters' gender, but of course Issei is a male. This story will happen right in the final chapter of Hanyo no Yashahime, where after the Yashahime lost against Kirinmaru and after the death of Setsuna, Moroha and Towa regret not having saved Setsuna, but in that a portal appears absorbing the three Yashahime, taking them to a new world that they will have to protect and where they will meet new friends. Clarifications. 1. Setsuna will have her memories back, since for those who saw the final chapter of Hanyo no Yashahime, the dream butterfly touched Setsuna, which means that she recovered her memories. 2. Rainer did fall in love with Issei, but she will be controlled by Kakabiel, so that she kills Issei. 3. Issei will not have a harem, his partners will only be Rias and Rainer. 4. By fate, other portals will absorb Hisui, Riku and Kirinmaru. 5. Moroha will have better control of Beniosh's power and will not fall asleep as happened in the anime. 6. The old man Myoga will also be there, remember that he is always with Moroha, so it is obvious that he will be there too. 7. Riku being taken to another world by fate and the power of the script was freed from Zero's control. 8. Setsuna x Hisui. 9. Towa x Riku. Chapter Prologue. Hello people of Wapped, how are you? I hope you are well. Well, here I bring you the prologue chapter of the fanfic of Yashahime Princess Half Demon X High School DxD. Well, without making too much filler, let's begin, but not without first making it clear that the images, videos etc. that you put do not belong to me, they belong to their respective creators. The same with the animes of Hanyo no Yashahime and High School DxD, their characters and all that belong to their respective creators. Now yes, let's begin. Prologue. Everything would begin just like in the final chapter of Hanyo no Yashahime with the appearance of Kirinmaru and Zero's escape, only she was injured and about to die. Even after having been revived with Sessamaru's Tesega, she was still injured after everything happened like in the chapter the Yashahime fighting against Kirinmaru, the death of Setsuna, the battle of Towa and Moroha against Kirinmaru until they, due to the great waste of power, fall to the ground. The same thing would happen here until minute 135. Suddenly Moroha would get up from the ground, injured but still able to move, and she would approach where Towa was and say, "Moroha. I'm so sorry Towa, you're not the only one who feels weak, I feel the same way too." Moroha would just hug her cousin while she was still crying over the death of her sister Setsuna. Towa crying. No, we couldn't protect her Moroha, I couldn't protect my sister." Moroha. Don't cry now Towa, besides I couldn't protect my cousin either. Both of them would continue crying next to Setsuna's body. But suddenly the rain stops falling and they both look at this, impressed. Moroha. What the hell happened? Towa. It's like time has stopped. Suddenly a strange portal appears in front of them, but they could not react in time and would be absorbed by the portal joint Setsuna's body, and after that the portal would close. All this seen by a white-haired man who was Sessamaru, and next to him was Jaken, and he would say, "Jaken." And now that he loved beautifully. Sessamaru. "Nothing, whatever happened to you doesn't matter, anyway you can take care of yourselves, now let's go." Jaken. "Yes, I loved." So both would leave the place knowing that whatever happened to the Yashahime they would surely be fine. Give him the intro. In another place, more specifically in a part of a park, you can see three 15-year-old girls lying on the ground. They were Towa, Moroha and Setsuna, and the latter was no longer injured. Author's note. The age of the Yashahime was increased by 1 more year when they entered the portal, which is why they are now 15 years old. End of note. Suddenly Towa would be the first to wake up and she would see her surroundings, seeing that she was in what appeared to be a park, and she would say, "Towa. Where I am, I'm not supposed to be in a crater, or maybe I returned home." Towa would look around again but would notice something. "Towa. I don't think I'm home, since I always visited the city parks and I've never seen a park like this." At that moment Towa would see her sword broken and she would grab it and put it in its sheath. At that moment she would see Moroha next to her and she would move it. "Towa. Moroha, wake up, please wake up." At that point Moroha would slowly wake up and would see the place where she was, and then she would turn around and see Towa and she would say, "Moroha. Towa, what happened, where are we? I remember we were in a crater," and then the rain stopped as if time had paused, and at that Moroha would remember the portal that appeared in front of them and Setsuna's body, and at that Towa would ask, "Towa. Moroha, that happened, you are fine." Moroha. "Towa, do you remember that a portal appeared in front of us and Setsuna's body?" Towa. "Yes, why?" Moroha. "Well, maybe you don't believe this, but pay close attention." Towa would only pay attention to what Moroha would say. Moroha. You see, about the things of the modern era that led to the feudal era, there was a strange book that talked about interesting things, and by instinct I began to read it, and one of those things that caught my attention is something they call portals, about which I read that some can take you to another place or to other unknown worlds. The portal that took us to the feudal era is not like the one that appeared in front of us. If I'm correct, that portal brought us to another world, do you understand? Tho was surprised. Why yes, but we weren't the only ones that portal absorbed. Moroha. Hey, that's right, Setsuna, where is she? Moroha would look behind Towa and would look surprised at what she was seeing, and Towa would turn to look and would be just as surprised since in front of them was Setsuna on the ground, but she no longer had any wounds, and next to her was her Naginata repaired in that both girls would approach, and Towa would move Setsuna. Towa. Setsuna está bien, Setsuna despierta. And that Setsuna would wake up and she would see Towa and Moroha surprised and she would immediately hug them tightly, something that would surprise Towa and Moroha and that Setsuna would say. Setsuna. Towa Moroha, you don't know how happy it makes me to see you again, it's good to be able to see you again, especially you, Towa. Towa. Why? Setsuna. Why do I finally remember everything? This would surprise Towa and Moroha and Towa would say. Towa. What do you mean by remembering everything? No, that's impossible if I couldn't find the dream butterfly. Setsuna. You see Towa, without you realizing it, the dream butterfly landed on my face and that made me close my eyes before dying, and then I remembered everything that happened since the forest fire when you and I met again and everything else we've done since we met again. I'm glad to be back, sister. Towa would hug Setsuna tightly and she would start crying while saying. Towa crying. I'm glad my sister is finally back, you don't know how happy this makes me. Setsuna crying. I'm also happy that she remembers everything and that now we're together again. Moroha. And that her cousin can't join the group hug. Towa Setsuna. Of course, come here, cousin. So the three of them would hug each other, but suddenly the sky changed color turning a shade of purple and the three of them would see that in amazement. Setsuna. That darkened out of nowhere. Moroha. Okay, this has gotten weird. Setsuna. By the way, where are we, since from what I see, we are not in the feudal era. Moroha would explain the same thing to Setsuna and she would be surprised and say. Setsuna. It's amazing that we're in another world now. Towa. Wait, I smell a strange smell. Moroha. I feel it too, but I don't know what it is. Towa. Is that smell like blood? Moroha. It's true, it's the smell of blood. Setsuna. But where does the smell of blood come from? Towa. It's coming from that direction, we have to go. We may not know this world, but at least we have to go help whoever is there, they may be hurt and need our help. Setsuna Moroha. Okay, let's go. So Towa Setsuna and Moroha would go to the place where the smell of blood was felt. 35 minutes before. There was a certain brown-haired man with a girl, and those people were none other than Issei and Yuma. Then Yuma stood at the fountain where they were and said. Yuma. Issei con me diverti mucho en nuestra cita. Issei. Haha, I had a lot of fun too, Yuma-chan. But what Issei didn't know was what Yuma was thinking at that moment. Mother mind. Yuma. Ah damn, I can't free myself from Kakabiel's mind control, I have to free myself before my body does what Kakabiel wants. Out of Yuma's mind. The girl would say in Issei's ear. Mother. Issei who died for me. Issei. Sorry Yuma-chan, could you repeat that, I didn't hear you. Mother. Issei one more areas for me please. And that Yuma would transform into his fallen angel form and would create a spear of light and would throw the spear of light, thus hitting the brown-haired boy's stomach, causing him to bleed a lot even as he falls to the ground. Mother mind. The girl was extremely scared and had tears in her eyes and she would say. Yuma. No my Issei no, why damn Kakabiel, why can't it be, I couldn't free myself from this mind control. Mother crying. No. Out of Yuma's mind. The girl was sitting at the fountain and she would say. Rainer. By the way, my real name is Rainer and I am a fallen angel, and if you want to blame someone, blame God for putting a sacred gear on your body. The girl would begin to laugh maliciously, but then an arrow is stuck in her arm making her surprised and she would say angry. Rainer. But who the hell shot me? Come out of your hiding place and show yourself. 3 girls would come out of the shadows and Rainer would see what they were armed with and say. Rainer. Who are you? Perhaps you are carriers of sacred gears. Moroha confused. What is this sacred gears thing? Setsuna. I don't care what that is, but answer, you killed that boy. Rainer. Yes, and now that you saw me, take this. So Rainer would throw several spears of light, but the Yashahime would easily dodge them, and Rainer would scream. Rainer. Damn humans, let yourselves be killed already. Towa. Setsuna Moroha, let's finish her off. Setsuna. Understood, you first Moroha. Moroha. understood. Moroha would draw his sword and scream. Moroha. Crimson Dragon Wave. So Moroha's attack would hit Rainer, and that's when Setsuna would scream. Setsuna. My turn, Scourge of the Swallows. So several green missiles would hit Rainer, and then Towa would scream. Towa. This is my strongest attack, Blue Dragon Shock. So a great celestial dragon would hit Rainer, causing her to fall to the ground weakened, and she would wake up and say. Rainer. Hey, what happened? Wait, I regained control of my body, I'm no longer controlled. Setsuna. What are you talking about? Someone was manipulating you. Rainer. Please don't kill me, I didn't want to kill him, they forced me to do it, but I refused to do it because I fell in love with him, but they controlled my mind, and that's why he's dead now. At that Moroha would point an arrow at Rainer and say. Moroha. How to know you're not lying to them? Towa. I think I have an idea, I can see other people's minds with the power of my rainbow pearl, I will look at their memories and tell them if she is telling the truth, okay. Setsuna Moroha. Okay. So Towa with her rainbow pearl would see everything that happened since she met Issei when she refused to kill him and when Kakabiel controlled her so that she would kill Issei after a few minutes, Towa would move away a little and say. Towa. She's telling the truth, she fell deeply in love with that boy named Issei. I saw when she refused to kill the boy, but I saw that someone named Kakabiel controlled her to do that. Setsuna. Wow, I can't believe that miserable man forced you to do something you didn't want to do. Moroha. If Towa says you're telling the truth then I believe you, but tell me what your name is. Rainer. Well, my fallen angel name is Rainer, and my other name is Yama, and my last name is Amano, but call me Yama. Towa. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Yama, my name is Towa Higurashi, and she is my younger sister Setsuna, and she is Moroha, our cousin. Moroha. By the way, Yama, what is a fallen angel? Setsuna. And what is that you said about sacred gears? Yama. Well, you see. But before Yama could say anything else, a magic circle would appear where the chestnut's body was that Yama would recognize. From the circle a girl with crimson red hair, blue eyes and a voluptuous body would come out, which was Rias Gremory, and she would see Issei's lifeless body, and she would see the Yashahime, and she would see that they emanated an extraordinary power, and she would say. Rias. I can feel great power in you three, and I also see that you are protecting a fallen angel. Towa. Who are you and what are you? Rias. I can explain, but first I must revive this boy. Moroha. That you can revive the boy. Rias. Yes, but I ask you to hand me over to the fallen angel who is behind you. Yama would hide behind the girls and Setsuna would say. Setsuna. Sorry, but we can't hand you over to Yama, but we can tell you the truth about what really happened. Towa. Please just trust us please. Rias. Okay, I'll trust you now, you four come here with me. The Yashahime would look at each other and then nod, but Yama would say. Yama. Girls, are you sure about this? I don't want to be killed. Towa. Don't worry, Yama, while we're here, no one will hurt you, okay? Yama. Está bien gracias Towa. At that point Towa Setsuna, Moroha and Yama would approach where Rias was and the four girls, along with Aridid, would teleport in a magic circle. Chapter 1. New Friends. Confrontation with the Gremory clan. Previously the three half-demon princesses Towa Setsuna and Moroha had lost against Kiranmaru and Setsuna had died, but a strange portal absorbed Towa and Moroha and Setsuna's body, and the princesses ended up in another world where Setsuna came back to life, and she already had her memories back. They also met Rainer, a fallen angel, but the princesses did not understand what a fallen angel is, but before Rainer explained that Rias Gremory would appear, and she would ask the Yashahime and Rainer to accompany her, which they accepted, and they were transported in a magic circle, together with the body of Hyoto Issei. What will happen now? Find out. Give him the intro. The Yashahime together with her new friend Yama or Rainer arrived at the occult club in a magic circle, but this would leave the Yashahime impressed, in that Moroha would say impressed. Moroha. Oh, how did we appear here and through a simple circle? Setsuna. This is incredible how it is possible that out of nowhere we appeared here. Towa. There are no words to express this. Yama. Hehe, it seems they were surprised. Author's note. The same thing happened here as in the original story. Rias revived and Issei was reincarnated as a demon, end of note. At that point Rias would sit at his desk and say. Rias. Well, let me introduce myself, my name is Rias Gremory. The girl next to me is Akeno Himejima. The young man standing there is Yuto Kiba. And the little girl who is eating on the couch is Kaneko Taoju. Kiba Kaneko Akeno. Hello, nice to meet you. Rias. Okay, now I would like to know your names. I would also like to know your name, fallen angel. Towa. Well, my name is Towa Higurashi and she is my younger sister Setsuna. Setsuna. Nice to meet you. Towa. And she is our cousin Moroha. Moroha. Haha, hello, nice to meet you. Rias. Nice to meet you, but what is your name, fallen angel? Yuma. Well, my name is Yuma Amano, but my real name is Rainer. Rias. Nice to meet you, Rainer. Yuma. Just tell me, Yuma, please, Eris Gremory. Rias. It's okay, and I see you know about me. Yuma. Yes, I know all about your clan and about your family. Towa. Eris, I don't understand. Setsuna. But I would like to know something about you, since what you did shows that you are not human. Rias. We are demons. Thus the Gremory clan would take out their demon wings, leaving the Yashahime impressed to know that there are demons in this world. That's what Towa would say. Towa. How strange, you don't look like the demons we know. Moroha. That's why they are not like the demons we've seen, nor are they half demons. All. Half demons. Rias. Well, you have to explain to me what you want to tell me about what really happened in the park, and I also want to know about you three, but first, Akeno, prepare cups of tea. Akeno. At your service, President. 2 minutes later. Akeno would appear with cups of tea for everyone, and they would start drinking tea, and everyone would say that. Rias. And they're going to tell me what they wanted to tell me. Setsuna. Towa is the one who saw everything, so she will tell you the truth, sister. Towa. Of course, you see, this is what happened. So Towa would tell what she saw in Yuma's memories, how she fell in love with Issei, how she refused to kill him, and how Kakebiel controlled her mind, and everyone would be amazed by what they heard, and Rias would say. Rias. Yuma, who is Kakebiel? We have never heard anything about him. Yuma. Kakebiel is a supreme fallen angel. He is very strong, but not as strong as the leader of all the fallen angels, but even so he managed to control my mind and made me kill Issei. Rias. I see, but Towa, how were you able to see Yuma's memories? Towa. With this. And Towa's eye would start to shine, and she would take out her silver rainbow pearl, and Rias would ask. Rias. And that pearl you took out of your eye? Towa. Well, this is a rainbow pearl. Moroha. But apart from that, we have to tell you that we are not from this world. Everyone would be surprised by what Moroha said, and Rias would ask. Rias. Wait, you said they're not from this world, so you can tell me what their world is like. Setsuna. Well, on the condition that you tell us about this world of yours. Rias would just nod her head, so the Yashahime would tell everything about their world, about the feudal era, of what the demons of their world are like, about what half-demons are, and about the rainbow pearls, and also telling about the 4 dangers, and their leader Kirinmaru, until when they told the battle against Kirinmaru, where Setsuna died, and telling that they lost the battle against Kirinmaru, and telling that a portal absorbed them, and that perhaps entering the portal caused Setsuna to revive. Leaving everyone impressed, and Rias would say. Rias. Wow, it's incredible that a world like yours exists, but what still shocks me is that you are half human and half Hanyo, which means demon. Akeno. Ara, it's incredible that we are facing 3 girls who come from another world, and also that they seem to have great power within them. Rias. Well, since you already told us about your world, now it's our turn to tell you about our world. So Rias and the Gremory clan together with Yuma would tell the Yashahime everything about their world, about the factions, the war that took place between them, about the celestial dragons, the sacred gears, about the 2 celestial dragons, the red emperor dragon and the white emperor dragon, leaving the Yashahime impressed with that. Towa would say. Towa. Wow, this world is full of incredible things, especially those weapons called sacred gears. Rias. Okay girls, I'd like to ask you something. Setsuna. And what would that be? Rias. Would like to join my clan. Yuma. I do accept, because I want to be with Issei and explain to him what happened. Rias. Perfect, what do you say? Towa. I don't know what to say. Setsuna. We really appreciate your offer, but we want to continue being what we are. Moroha. I agree. Rias. Okay, then they want to be our allies, but don't worry, they don't have to become demons. Towa. Well, I did agree to be an ally, and what do you say? Setsuna. Moroha. It's okay, we agree to be allies without becoming demons. Rias. Okay, then I'll put a seal of our clan on them. This represents that they are from the Gremory clan. So Rias would put the seals on the Yashahime, but Moroha would hit her neck and say. Moroha. Ouch, what the heck. Then Moroha would see someone very familiar to her and she would say. Moroha. But what an old Myoga you are. Myoga. Of course it's me, Ama Moroha, who's more serious. Fiba. Hey, who's that little flea? Hineko. Plus she can talk. Moroha. Well, he is the flea Myoga, he has always been with me since the beginning. Myoga. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Rias. Taste is our lord Myoga. Moroha. Hey, why didn't you show up when we were at the park? Myoga. I was asleep. Ama Moroha, don't judge me for sleeping. Moroha. Well, that's fine. Rias. Fine Yuma, I'll turn you into a pawn. Yuma. A pawn, and why? Rias. Well, that's why to revive Issei I gave him 8 pawns. Yama. Incredible, that means that my relationship with Issei will be much better. Rias. Yes, well, but first, listen, girls, I would like to ask you something. Towa. What a thing. Rias. They could face off against my pieces since I want to see all their skills in battle. Setsuna. Well then, that's fine, we accept. So everyone would go outside and this would be the order of confrontations. Setsuna vs Kiba. Towa vs Akeno. And Moroha vs Kaneko. Author's note. Old man Myoga went to sleep XD end of note. Everyone would get into a fighting stance and start fighting, but only Towa and Setsuna would start fighting against Kiba and Akeno, where after 35 minutes Towa and Setsuna would manage to win with a combined attack, and in that Moroha would say. Moroha. Okay Kaneko, show me what you got. Kaneko. Entendido Moroha-san. So Kaneko would rush to attack Moroha, but she would block the blow with her sword, at that Moroha would retreat and she would grab her bow and arrow and scream. Moroha. Bombardment of heavenly arrows. And 1,000,000 arrows would go towards Kaneko, but she dodged them with a little difficulty, at that Moroha would take out her sword and scream. Moroha. Let's see if you can handle this Crimson Dragon Wave. And the attack would hit Kaneko, but she would get up and give Moroha a big blow that would send her crashing into some trees, and seeing that Towa would say. Towa. Wow, Kaneko is really strong. Setsuna. Moroha won't have it so easy against Kaneko, but you have to believe in her. And that Moroha would say. Moroha. Okay Kaneko, do you want to go seriously, then look at this. At that Moroha would put on her crimson lipstick, thus transforming into Beniyasha. The entire Gremory clan and Yama would be surprised and Rias would say. Rias. But what happened to Moroha? Setsuna. Moroha put on her crimson lipstick, that lipstick has the power of her rainbow pearl. Rias. Incredible. Back in the fight. Moroha. With this crimson lipstick I become Beniyasha the demon slayer. Come on, Kaneko. I feel like you're hiding something. What are you waiting for? Show me what it is. Kaneko would be surprised and say in her thoughts. Kaneko. Damn, she knows for some strange reason, but she became much stronger, I have no choice but to do it. Out of your thoughts. Suddenly Kaneko would grow cat ears and a tail showing her Nekomata form. Everyone would look in amazement at what Kaneko did, but those in the occult club were worried because they knew what could happen. Kaneko and Moroha would start fighting like never before, and both were equal. 40 minutes passed where Kaneko and Moroha were quite injured, and then they would scream. Rias. Stop Kaneko, don't keep fighting, please. I don't want you to keep getting hurt, please. Towa. Moroha, please stop. If you continue like this, you'll hurt yourself more than usual. Setsuna. You must stop Moroha. Kaneko. I'm sorry Rias-senpai, but I'm not going to give up. Moroha. Forgive me girls, but I'll stop when I've won, so let's get this over with Kaneko. Kaneko. Claro Moroha-senpai. Both would launch into the attack with their last strength, and they would clash their fists generating a large smoke screen, and when they dispersed they would see that both were still standing, but Kaneko was going to fall. Rias. Kaneko. But this would be held by Moroha and this would say. Moroha. Wow Kaneko, you are a great opponent, but I see that you can't control that power, but don't worry, I'll help you control it. Kaneko. Thanks Moroha-senpai, thanks. So Kaneko would fall asleep in Moroha's arms, and then Rias would say. Rias. Wow, you guys are strong, but you, Moroha, left Kaneko in bad shape. Moroha. Haha, sorry about that. Rias. Well, while you were fighting I turned Yama into one of my clan, now she is my other pawn since Issei reincarnated him into a pawn. Towa. Wow, that's amazing. Rias. By the way, now you will have to attend Kuo Academy. Towa. Setsuna Moroha. What the heck? Towa. No please, we don't want to study anyway, if we are your allies then we will stay in the occult club, but please don't make us study please. Rias. It's fine, but you better comply with it. Towa. Setsuna Moroha. Lo Prometheus. Rias. Okay, now let's go to sleep, meanwhile you Yama will go live with Issei, but after you talk to him, okay? Mother. Understood chairwoman. Rias. Okay Towa. Setsuna Moroha, come with me to the occult club, there's a room for the 3 of you to sleep in. Towa. We'll follow you. So the Yashahime would go to their room and fall asleep waiting for tomorrow to begin new adventures with their new friends. Chapter 2. Meeting Asia Argento and Priest Fred. Previously the Yashahime met the Gremory clan, so they told that Yama was controlled by Kakabiel, a supreme fallen angel. The Yashahime told about their world and the Gremory clan about theirs, and Rias asked the Yashahime and Yama if they wanted to be part of the Gremory clan. Yama accepted, but the Yashahime said that they would be allies, and after a fight between the Yashahime against Kiba, Akeno and Kaneko, they ended up winning the duel, and Moroha told Kaneko that she would help her control her. Our and the Yashahime will stay in the occult club so they don't have to study at Kuo Academy. What will happen now? Find out now. Give him the intro. The next morning. Towa would be the first to wake up and she would see Setsuna and Moroha sleeping peacefully. Towa would start to smell something and she would say. Towa. This smell is like breakfast. After saying that, Moroha, still asleep, would suddenly smell the smell of breakfast and would get up and say while stretching. Moroha. Oh, good morning, Towa. Towa. Good morning, Moroha, come let's see where that delicious breakfast smell is coming from. Moroha. You are right. So both would leave the room and they would see that there was a kitchen in the occult club and they would see that Akeno was preparing breakfast and she would say. Akeno. Ara good morning Towa and Moroha. Towa. Good morning Akeno, how did you wake up? Akeno. I woke up feeling wonderful and you guys? Moroha. We also woke up well, but tell me, is breakfast ready? Akeno. Yes, but if you're wondering why I'm here making you breakfast, it's because Rias told me to make you breakfast. Towa. I see and Rias where it is. Akeno. Well, right now I think he's at Issei-kun's house. Moroha. What the hell are you doing there? Akeno. Well, you see, when Issei was reincarnated as a demon, he was still injured and to heal him, Rias had to sleep in his bed. Towa Moroha. Wait what wah? Akeno. But why are they screaming like that? The good thing is that they wake up Setsuna-san. Towa. Pages, but why the hell is Rias sleeping with that boy? Setsuna. What boy are you talking about? The girls would turn around and see that Setsuna was already awake and Towa would say. Towa. Oh good morning Setsuna, how does it feel to be able to sleep? Setsuna. The truth is that it feels very good to feel this sister, but you woke me up with your scream, but tell me why you screamed. Moroha. Well, Akeno is saying that Rias is sleeping at the house of that boy called Issei. Setsuna. Wait, why is Rias there? Akeno. Let me explain, you see, we demons can heal other people by making body-to-body contact and thus be able to heal the injured person, and Rias slept in Issei-kun's bed naked so that she could heal him, do you understand? The Yashahime were red as a tomato for what they heard, but they would ignore it and start eating breakfast together Akeno, but the Yashahime would say in their thoughts. Towa Setsuna Moroha. What a strange way demons have of healing people, it's uncomfortable to have heard that. Here everything would happen like in the original story until Issei arrives at the club and sees Yuma and would be surprised and say. Issei. You Yuma-chan, what are you doing here? Yuma. Issei, I know you remember what happened yesterday, but I have to tell you that that wasn't me, they were controlling my mind and that's why I did that. Issei. Seriously, what you're telling me isn't a lie. Yuma. I'm telling you the truth Issei-kun, listen carefully to this. So Yuma would tell Issei that she is a fallen angel, that she was being controlled by Kakebiel, a supreme fallen angel, and Issei would understand and say. Issei. I understand and don't worry Yuma-chan since I forgave you for that. Yuma. Thank you very much Issei-kun. At that moment Issei would hear the sound of a shower. Author's note. Issei will not be a pervert since I already said it once, I don't really like that Issei is a pervert, so Issei will not be a pervert like he is in the anime, okay, don't judge me, end of note. Issei. What the hell is there a shower here, how the hell is that possible? Yuma. Na yo lo si pero de seguro esta la presidenta Rias ahi. At that point you would appear and say. Rias. Wow, you're here, Issei, welcome. Yuma. But president, aren't you supposed to be in there in the shower? Rias. No, what are you talking about? Issei. Wait a minute, if you're here then who's inside that shower? At that moment, someone would come out of the shower already dressed, who was a brunette and would say. Moroha. Wow, it's amazing that this club has a shower, the water was delicious. Issei confused. Hey Yuma-chan, who is that girl? I don't remember seeing her at the academy. Yuma. Well Issei, you'll know that very soon. So everyone was already gathered and Rias would tell Issei the same thing as in the original story and then Rias would introduce the Yashahime to Issei and they would tell him that they are from another world and what their world is like and Issei would say surprised. Issei. What does that mean? They are half human and half demon. Setsuna. Exactly Issei. Issei. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Hyodo Issei. Towa. The pleasure is ours, my name is Towa Higurashi and she is Setsuna my younger sister and she is Moroha our cousin. Setsuna Moroha. Mucho gusto Issei. Issei. Haha, this is very incredible that you come from another world is incredible. But then Issei would feel a prick on his neck and he would hit his neck and say. Issei. Ah, what the hell? And that Issei would see in his hand that there was a flea and he would say. Issei. What the heck is a flea and who the heck are you? Myoga. I'm the flea Myoga and you are really rude, you hit me harder than Mistress Moroha. Moroha. Excuse me, Issei, he always feeds on people's blood. Issei. Never mind, a pleasure to meet you, Myoga-sama. Myoga. The pleasure is mine. Here everything would happen like in the original story until when Issei meets Asia, but he was accompanied by Towa since she had to take care of him now, in that Issei and Towa would take Asia to the church, but Issei would feel something strange, but in that Asia would say. Asia. Thank you for bringing me to the Issei-san church, but I would like to know your name. Towa. Ah, sorry for not introducing myself. My name is Towa Higurashi and I hope we become good friends. Asia. I hope the same, Towa-san. We will skip to where Issei faces the crazy Freed, but then the Gremory clan and the Yashahime and Towa would arrive. Seeing Asia as she was would lift her up and say. Towa. Are you feeling well? Asia. Yes, I'm fine, Towa-san, but you are also a demon. Towa. I'm actually half human and half demon. Asia. Half human and half demon. Towa. I'll tell you later. Just like in the original story, the Gremory clan would leave together with Issei, but Towa, Setsuna, and Moroha would stay and they would knock Freed unconscious and they would quickly leave before the group of fallen angels arrived. The Yashahime would arrive at the church and say so. Asia. Thanks for saving me, Towa-san, but who are you? Setsuna. My name is Setsuna, I am Towa's sister. Moroha. And I am Moroha, I am Towa and Setsuna's cousin. Asia. Nice to meet you, but Towa-san, will you come see me and Issei-san too? Towa. Yes, I will come to see you since Issei and I are your friends. Now, well, Issei is a friend, I am a friend, you understand, right? Asia. I understand, but well, see you tomorrow, bye. Towa. Goodbye Asia, see you. So the Yashahime would go back to the club and when they arrived they would see Issei injured and Setsuna would say. Setsuna. And how do you feel, Issei? Issei. I'm fine, but what happened to Asia? She's fine. Towa. Don't worry, she's fine, don't worry. Moroha. But who was that crazy guy, a rather crazy guy? Yama. I know who he is, he works for the fallen angels, he's a rebel priest, his name is Freed Selzen, and he's literally crazy. Setsuna. There's something else. Yama. Yes, I'm sure that my former fallen companions plan to take Asia's sacred gear, but if they do, Asia will die forever. Towa. You can't be Rias, we have to save Asia, please I ask you, I know that demons should not relate to those of the church as you had said, but Asia does not judge demons, she is someone with a pure heart and I don't want her to die, so please I ask you to please help Asia in case the fallen angels do what Yama says, please Rias. Rias would think about it and sigh and say. Rias. It's okay Towa, since I see that girl is a great friend for you and Issei, so we will help Asia if the fallen make their move. Yama. I will help since I met her before they controlled my mind and before I treated her badly, but now I want to apologize to her. Issei. And you will see it, Yama-chan. Akeno. But what will the plan be? Towa. It's always Issei and I, we look for her and if we find her we'll let ourselves be defeated so they take her away and then go to the old church where the fallen will be, right Yama? Mother. Exact. Towa. We arrive at the front, the rest of us at the back and then in case we arrive late, I have an emergency plan. Setsuna. And what would it be? Towa. In case we arrive late and they end up taking Asia Ria's sacred gear, there will be no other option, you will have to reincarnate Asia into a demon from the Gremory clan so that she can revive and also so she can be with us and she would be happy and they would no longer have to suffer and now everyone understands the plan. All. Yes, let's do it. Chapter 3. The Rescue of Asia. One of the four dangers appears. Previously our protagonists had already met Issei Hyodo, who as Rias had told them he has a dragon-type sacred gear. Issei accepted Yama's apologies, now Issei is with the Gremory clan, and apart from that he met our protagonists, also Towa met a girl named Asia Argento, who turns out to be a nun due to some incidents. Asia discovers that Issei is a demon, and that Towa is half demon. Luckily the Yashahime saved Asia, and left her in the church, and later Towa and the entire occult club plan a plan to prevent the fallen from taking her sacred gear from Asia. What will happen now, find out. Give him the intro. The next morning at Issei's house he would wake up and then yawn and say. Issei. Ah damn, today will be another normal day in my life, well almost normal, since now I am a demon who possesses a sacred weapon that is capable of killing God himself, yes, very normal my day. Then that Issei would feel that he is touching something soft and he would say. Issei. What the heck, it can't be what I'm thinking. At that Issei would hear a small moan and he would get a little scared, believing that Rias was in his bed again, but when he lifted the sheets, he would be surprised and would blush like a tomato seeing Yama in his bed completely naked. Issei. What the hell are you doing here, you Yama-chan? At that Issei would realize that his hand was grabbing one of Yama's breasts and he would quickly remove his hand and at that Yama would wake up and see Issei and then say happily. Mother. Good morning Issei-kun, you slept well. Issei. Well, I slept well, but what are you doing here and why are you naked? Yuma. Well, I felt lonely last night and I wanted to come here with you and sleep by your side since the president told me I could come live with you anyway. Issei. Oh yeah. Yuma. Well, I also wanted to ask you something. Issei. Tell me what it is. Yuma. Issei-kun wanted to ask you to please continue being my boyfriend since I don't want you to be far from me since I want to be by your side. Please, I ask you because I love you, Issei-kun. I fell in love with you since I started following you, so please continue being my boyfriend. Issei would be surprised by Yuma's words while blushing, but then he would lift Yuma's face and then say. Issei. Of course I will continue to be your boyfriend Yuma-chan, since I also want to be with you because I love you too. This would make Yuma happy and she would kiss Issei, and he would reciprocate the kiss where they would have a tongue battle and then separate. Mother. You don't have one. Issei. I love you too. So they would both get up and change and then go together to the Kuo Academy. Meanwhile in the occult club the Yashahime were planning their plan, but Towa was somewhat thoughtful, but Setsuna would say that. Setsuna. Are you okay Towa? Towa. Hey, I'm fine Setsuna, don't worry. Moroha. You're very thoughtful about what you're thinking about since I don't think you're only thinking about today's plan. Towa. Well, okay, I was thinking about something or rather someone. Moroha. Maybe you're thinking about a boy or something. Setsuna. Thinking about it, it's very likely. Towa blushed. Well if I am thinking about that, but it is someone from our world. Moroha Setsuna. Don't tell us that's what it's about. Towa. And it's about Riku. Setsuna. No offense, sister, but remember he's an ally of Zero. Moroha. Yes, apart from the fact that he wanted our rainbow pearls to give to Zero. Towa. I know that but I can't stop thinking about him, it's like he stayed inside my heart. Setsuna. That means you. Moroha. Did you fall in love with Riku? Towa. This is good, I think so, sorry if it bothers you. Setsuna. Well, in part it bothers me a little since he literally tricked us into taking our rainbow pearls, but on the other hand, I feel happy that for the first time in your life you are experiencing love. Towa. Thanks Setsuna. Moroha. Well, I'm happy for you too, but I think that love thing is ridiculous. Setsuna. Well, I'm sure that sooner or later you'll fall in love with someone, I'm sure of that. Moroha. Yes, of course. Akeno. I'm sure of that too. At that the Yashahime would turn around and see Akeno and they had become a little scared. Setsuna. Akeno-san, since when are you there? Akeno. Ever since Towa was asked why she was so thoughtful. Moroha. It's strange that we haven't seen you. Akeno. I'm good at hiding. Towa. Well, I'll go out for a while. See you later to execute the plan. All. It's okay. So Towa would go for a walk for a while until she would sit on a park bench until. Asia. Towa-san it's you. And that Towa would see that the person who spoke to her was Asia. Towa. Asia it's you, I'm glad to see you again. Asia. Me too. Towa. But you're not supposed to be in church. Asia. Well, you see, I'll be honest with you. I ran away because I don't want to be killed if they take my sacred gear. Towa. Don't worry, I'm here, I'm going to protect you. And Towa's thoughts. Towa. Damn, Issei is supposed to be here, but no way, I'll have to do the first phase of the plan myself. Out of your thoughts. Asia. Towa-san can we leave here? Towa. Oh why? At that point a fallen angel would appear who was Don Zeke and he would say. Don Zeke. So here you were with a silly human. Towa. You are a fallen angel. Don Zeke. That's right, my name is Don Zeke, but now give me the nun. Towa. Never. And that another fallen angel would grab Asia who was Carol Renell. Carol Renell. Ready now let's go quickly. Asia. Towa-san help me. Towa. Calm down Asia, I'll go save you, I promise. At that point the fallen angels would disappear and Towa would quickly go to the occult club to tell what happened, thus making it time to execute the plan. Already at night. Towa and Moroha were standing next to Issei, Kaneko and Kiba at the main entrance of the church. Issei. I hope I can be of help. Moroha. Calm down Issei, I'm sure you'll be able to help a lot and remember that you're already starting to learn how to use your sacred gear. Issei. Yes, you're right, Moroha-san. Kiba. We'd better get in right away. Towa. Kaneko have the honors please. Kaneko. Understood. So Kaneko would kick open the door and upon entering they would find Fried the priest. Fried. Wow, that's the stupid demon who hit me hard but now I'm going to finish you off. Just like in the original story, Issei would knock out Fried with one blow and he would quickly escape so the boys would go down to the floor below. While in the back of the church would be Mattel and Carol Renell standing guard, where later a magic circle of the Gremory clan would be formed from where Rias, Akeno, Rainer and Setsuna would come out. Mattel. But what Rainer are you doing with the demons of the Gremory clan? Carol Renell. You're supposed to be on our side. Rainer. I'm sorry but I'm no longer on your side, I'm now a demon from the Gremory clan. Mattel. And why the hell are you bringing a human here? Setsuna. I'm not a human and you'll see why. Meanwhile in the church, just like in the original story, the boys would try to get to Asia, but they wouldn't make it in time, thus Asia losing her sacred gear, but in that Towa would quickly go to where Asia is while the others faced the priests. Towa. You damn are going to regret it. Donna Zeke. Go ahead brat, try to kill me if you can. So Towa would start fighting Donna Zeke. While in the back of the church. A Mattel and a Carol Renell could be seen injured on the ground. Mattel. It's impossible, how did Rainer get stronger? Carol Renell. Now they'll finish us off. Setsuna. Your little one is called Mattel, right? Mattel. Yes, why? Setsuna. We know you're working for Kakabiel, but we'll give you one last chance to change sides and not die, so what do you say? Carol Renell. Go to hell, bitch, I'll never accept that. Mattel would be thoughtful about that, but after a few minutes she would say. Mattel. They won't kill me if I accept. Rias. Of course not, just like Rainer, we will give you a second chance to change and do good like us, so you accept. Mattel. Yes, he accepted. Setsuna. Good decision. At that Setsuna would raise Mattel, but Carol Renell would say. Carol Renell. You're a damn bitch, you and Rainer are damn traitors. Mattel. I don't give a shit what you tell me, Carol Renell. Rias. Akeno finishes her off. Rainer. If you must do it, Akeno-san. Setsuna. Enjoy it, friend. Akeno. Ara, this will be fun. Thus Akeno would launch her rays that would end up disintegrating Carol Renell. While inside the church, Towa continued fighting against Donna Zeke, but in that Towa would manage to take the sacred gear of Asia from Donna Zeke and would scream. Towa. Now, please. Moroha. Understood, take this, silly Crimson Dragon Wave. Thus the Crimson Dragon Wave would finish off Donna Zeke. Towa. We did it, friends. Issei. Yes, we did it. Hineko. Now you just have to put the sacred gear on it. Towa. Entendido. At that moment Rias, Akeno, Rainer and Setsuna would arrive along with Mattel. Fiba. President and that fallen angel. Moroha. I'll take care of it. Setsuna. No wait Moroha, she is on our side now. Moroha. That's serious Rainer. Rainer. If Mattel is on our side now, right. Mattel. That's right, I promise not to let you down when it comes to changing. Towa. Very well then I will put her sacred gear on Asia so that Rias can reincarnate her into a demon. Unknown voice. I don't believe it, princesses. At that everyone would look up and suddenly the roof would fall and they would see a giant silhouette, and when the smoke dispersed the Yashahime would be surprised to see who it was and would say. Towa Setsuna Moroha. No Puid Sir SS Tetsu. Tetsu? That's right, I'm half demon princesses. Now I'll finish you off, but I see there are other people, so I'll finish them off too. And Tetsu would start trying to cut everyone, but with luck they would avoid Tetsu's cuts, but in that some small cuts would manage to hit Rainer and Rias. Issei, seeing that he would get upset and say. Issei. Hey you bastard, how dare you hurt Yama-chan and the president. Tetsu. Are you going to hit me? Towa. Issei, let us take care of Tetsu. Setsuna. You have to move away. Moroha. Tetsu is very dangerous, that's why you have to stay away. Issei. I don't care, listen to me, you damn wretch, I won't forgive you for hurting Rainer-chan and President Rias. I'll never forgive you. In that, Issei's gauntlet would shine and his sacred gear had evolved, becoming the gauntlet of the Red Dragon Emperor. Tetsu? What the hell? Kiba. Incredible, Issei managed to evolve his sacred gear. Rias. That's it, now is the Red Emperor Dragon Gauntlet boosted gear. Rainer. Issei me Issei-kun. Towa. Amazing. Setsuna. That power she gives off is unstoppable. Moroha. Issei usa is poder y mada Tetsu de una vez por todas. Tetsu. Damn, I have to go quickly. But before Tetsu could finish speaking he would be hit by a huge punch from Issei, and being alone his sword Issei would take advantage and grab Tetsu's sword, and seeing that he would try to beg for mercy, but it was too late. Issei with great force would cut off Tetsu's head, and then quickly Rias would disintegrate Tetsu's head and body, thus killing him. After that Issei would fall to the ground, but he would quickly be held by Rias, who would say. Rias. You did it, Issei, you managed to evolve your sacred gear, I'm happy for you. Rainer. Me too, and you were able to finish off that Tetsu. Issei. Thank you chairwoman and thank you also Yama-chan. Mattel. And now what? Towa. It's true, we have to revive Asia. In that, just like in the original story, Rias would revive and reincarnate Asia as a demon, and the evil piece that Asia obtained is the bishop obviously, but Mattel would also be reincarnated as a demon, obtaining the position of Rook. The next day Rias would be very thoughtful looking at the window when Towa would approach and ask. Towa? You feel fine, laugh. Rias? Yes, I'm fine thanks Towa. Towa? Rias, I know you're not okay, my sister and Maroha know it too. Rias? I don't understand why you say that. Towa. You see the day we met and when I showed you my rainbow pearl you touched it, but what you didn't know is that by doing that you passed your memories into my pearl I could see your memories, and I also showed them to my sister and Maroha, so we know your situation. Rias? Really? Towa. Yes, I know that you are forcibly engaged to Razor Phoenix, heir of the Phoenix clan, but you do not want to marry him, and I understand you, and that is why you turned Issei into a demon, so that with his power he can free you from your engagement, but listen to me Rias, Setsuna, Maroha, and I will help you, since it is not fair to force you to marry someone you do not love. Rias. Thank you very much Towa, you know, I'll tell you something. Lately I've been feeling something for Issei, and I already know what it is, and it's that I'm in love with Issei, and despite the fact that he loved Yuma, I loved him, but I can't tell him because of this problem. Towa. Don't worry, I know you can tell him, I'm sure. Also, I understand that if two girls are in love with the same boy, he has to reciprocate their feelings. But don't worry so much. At that point, the rest of the occult club would arrive with a cake to celebrate the integration of Asia, Mattel, Rainer into the Gremory clan, and also for having the Yashahime as their allies, where everyone would be celebrating while a bird watched everything, and in another place a guy was watching how everyone celebrated. Subject. Wow, that was a very interesting result. Chapter 4. The Forest of Familiars. The Citri clan appears. Previously our protagonists were already ready to execute the plan since as they supposed Asia was kidnapped by the fallen angels, then they arrived at the church where Towa had to fight against Don Zeke, while the others fought against many priests. On the other hand Setsuna gathered Rias. Rainer and Akeno they fought against Mattel and Carawernel, where Mattel ended up accepting to join the Gremory clan, then an enemy of the Yashahime appeared who was one of the four dangers to Tetsu where Issei faced him, thus evolving his sacred gear and Issei managed to defeat Tetsu, and Asia was reincarnated as a demon like Mattel, and Towa confessed to Rias that she knew something that she did not want anyone to know, and Rias told Towa that she was in love with Issei, in addition to that a strange subject was spying on what was happening that will happen now find out. Give him the intro. Author's note. Asia will be living with Issei, but it will not be the same as in the original story, since Asia will only see Issei as a friend, end of note. In another place in a forest on the outskirts of Kuo, a strange portal would open from which two boys would come out, they were called Riku and Hisui, and they would see the place and Riku would say. Riku? What the hell, where are we? Hisui. I don't know but tell me Riku why did you ask me to help you find Towa if you are on the enemy's side? Riku. I'm actually not on the enemy's side anymore, since I feel like I'm no longer under Zero's control. Hisui. It means you're good now. Riku. You could say yes, but well, wherever we are, here the half-demon princesses are sure to be there. Hisui. You're right, but for now let's stay here. Tomorrow we'll start searching this strange place for the girls. Riku. It's okay. So both would sleep in a specific place. Hisui would sleep under a tree, while Riku slept on a tree branch. The next morning at the occult club it was 5:30 in the morning, and Setsuna would wake up and she would see how little by little the dawn was beginning to appear, and she would say. Setsuna. It feels great to be able to sleep now. I can be calm since I have my memories. I can sleep, and besides I am with my sister and my cousin, and I also have new friends. What more could I ask for? At that Mattel would appear a little sleepy. Author's note. Mattel is also staying in the occult club with the Yashahime, end of note. Mattel. Setsuna-san, what are you doing waking up so early? Setsuna. Sorry, Mattel, but I wanted to see how the sunrise came out since it is beautiful to see it every day. Mattel. You have a point, but okay, I'll leave you, I'll go back to sleep, see you later Setsuna-san. Setsuna. Rest Mattel-san. Here it would happen as in the original story. Asia would be enrolled in the Kuo Academy, but Mattel would also be there since Yuma had already been enrolled in the Kuo Academy for a while. Later in the occult club, everyone would be talking about something specific. Rias. Well girls, you're going to tell us who this Tetsu is and how you know him. Towa. But Rias, remember that we had already told you about him since he is one of the four dangers who are Kirinmaru's subordinates. Maroha. Did you forget about that? Rias. Oh yes, I remembered, but it would be better if you told Asia and Mattel about you. Akeno. She also had the same opinion. So the Yashahime would tell Mattel and Asia the same thing they told the others, leaving Mattel and Asia impressed. Mattel. Wow, that's incredible, so they come from another world where there are demons, but they are different from those in this world. Setsuna. That's right, Mattel-san. Asia. Your world sounds incredible. Moroha. Haha, it's not that bad. Rias. Well, for now we have to be attentive. By the way, Issei will start your training tomorrow, and if you're wondering, Yuma can come too. Yuma, thank you, President. So everyone would retire to their respective homes to rest. The next morning Issei would go to Kuo Park early to start training, and he was being accompanied by Rainer. Ria's training for Issei would be the same as in the original story, only Yuma would also help with Issei's training. Asia would arrive with the Yashahime, but Moroha and Setsuna would wear normal clothes, but Asia would fall by accident. After a few minutes, just like in the original story, Asia would go to live with Issei, but Yuma would get a little upset, but Asia would say that she would live with Issei just because he is a great friend and nothing more. Where they would spend a few days where the Yashahime would train from time to time, but one of those days the Yashahime would be talking about trivial things. Moroha. Dime Towa on Siegs Pincer and Riku. Towa. Well yes, since how I said it I can't get it out of my mind. Setsuna. It's incredible that my older sister fell in love with someone like Riku, I really didn't expect that. Towa. Haha, well, changing the subject, Moroha, you have trained Kaneko. Moroha. Of course, I've been training her these days and she almost has complete control of her power. Setsuna. It reminds me a bit of you when you couldn't control Beniyasha's power. Towa. It's true, from what I see, training with Kaneko has helped you master the power of Beniyasha. Moroha. Now I no longer fall asleep after using lipstick. They would continue talking about it until Towa said. Towa. Hey, remember what we talked about regarding the estuary situation? Setsuna. Yes, I remember it very well. Moroha. I still can't believe they're forcing her to marry someone she doesn't love, especially that guy we saw when Towa showed us Ria's thoughts and memories. Towa. Rias is very worried about her situation since she doesn't want to marry that guy, but I'll still tell you something that she told me, and that is that she is in love with Issei. Setsuna surprised. Wow, I didn't expect that, but Issei is in love with Yuma, and remember that they are still dating. Moroha. Well, as I understand it, if two girls are in love with the same boy, he must reciprocate their feelings, and I think Issei will accept Ria's feelings towards him. Towa. I told Rias the same thing, but we still have to plan something to free Rias from that commitment. Setsuna. That's true, but in case of emergencies we should tell Issei just in case. Towa. No, we can't tell Issei. I promised Rias that we wouldn't tell Issei anything. Moroha. And then what will we do? Towa. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll come up with something. Setsuna. I'm sure of that. Moroha. Hey Setsuna, are you thinking of someone from our world like Towa? Setsuna blushed. No, of course not, why do you say that? Moroha. Please, from a distance we can see that you are thinking about someone, so tell us who it is. Towa. I want to know too. Setsuna. Okay, I'll tell you, it's about. Towa. Moroha. De. Setsuna. Did a Hisui. Towa surprised. Woo, I really didn't expect that. Moroha. I thought you only wanted him as a partner. Setsuna. Well, when I still didn't remember everything about myself, I secretly worried about him, and now that I have my memories, I understand why I feel this way. Towa. It's amazing, my little sister fell in love too. Setsuna. Don't go so far as to tell me that. Moroha. Well, I'm glad about that, Setsuna, but as I already said, love for me is totally ridiculous. Towa. Setsuna. Well, sooner or later you'll fall in love with someone, Moroha. Moroha. I highly doubt it. The next day they would all be at the occult club, and just like in the original story, Rias would tell them about the relatives and everyone would introduce their respective relatives. Towa. Wow, it's amazing, the relatives look so adorable. Moroha. If these were in our world I would take one to be with me. Setsuna. Asia Issei, Yuma, Asia y Mattel Putin are unfamiliar. Rias. Well, yes, it is possible, since only a member of a specific clan can have a familiar. Asia. But how is it that we can get a relative? Rias. Well, you see. Then they would knock on the door. Bakeno. You can come in. That's when Sona Sitri and her entourage entered. Sona, excuse me, good afternoon Rias. Rias. Hello Sona, nice to see you. Issei. Hey, what's the student council president doing here? Asia. You know her. Issei. If she is in charge of leading the student council of the Kuo Academy. Saji. Didn't you tell them about us? Rias-san, I thought they knew. Sona. Saji, calm down, it's normal that Issei doesn't know anything about us. Rias. Her real name is Sona Citri, she is the heiress of the Citri clan. Issei. Oh I see, wait, aren't you the new kid who joined the student council? Saji. That's right. Sona. He is Saji Gensuru, he is my pawn. Rias. Well, those two are my pawns Hyodo Issei and Yuma Amano, and she is my second rook, she is Mattel. Sona. I never thought you'd have two fallen angels in your nobility. Rias. Well, some things happened and they became part of my nobility. Sona. I see, but those three girls are also part of your nobility. Rias. They are not really our allies because girls don't show up. Towa. Well, nice to meet you, my name is Towa Higurashi and she is my younger sister Satsuna. Satsuna. Nice to meet you. Moroha. And I am Moroha, I am Towa and Satsuna's cousin and it is a pleasure to meet you. Rias. I know it may sound strange to you, but those three are not from this world. The entire Citri clan would be surprised to hear that, but the Yashahime would tell them the same thing as the Gremory clan, which they would understand. Sona. I see, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Sona Citri and they are all my nobility. Towa. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Here the original story would happen, the sports duel against the Citri clan, until reaching the dodgeball game where the Yashahime would participate and with their help the Gremory clan would win. After that everyone would be celebrating their victory in the occult club. Towa. Wow, drinking this wine feels a little strange. Satsuna. Yes it is. Moroha. But it still tastes delicious. Rias. Don't worry, you'll get used to it with time. Well, it's best if we go to the family forest right away. Yuma. Although it's a little sad that the girls can't go with us. Towa. Don't worry, we'll be waiting here. Rias. Okay, see you later. So everyone would go in a big magic circle to the family forest. Towa and Satsuna would go out for a while Moroha stayed behind to look at the occult club more closely. Meanwhile, with Towa and Satsuna, both would be talking about trivial things until a voice caught their attention and Hisui would come out of the bushes. Hisui. Girls, are you serious? Satsuna. Here's you Hisui. Hisui. If it's me, why? At that, Satsuna would run and hug Hisui tightly, which would surprise him, but he would still hug her back. Towa. It's good to see you Hisui. Hisui. And I'm not alone since someone else is with me. Satsuna. And who is it? At that moment, Riku would appear in front of them and would hug Towa tightly, which left her surprised and blushing at the same time. Satsuna was going to interfere, but Hisui explained to her that Riku was no longer under Zero's control. A few hours would pass in this way, where Satsuna and Towa were talking with Hisui and Riku about what had happened to them until now, before leaving, but not before telling Riku and Hisui to go to the occult club one of these days. The next day everything would happen as in the original story until the night at Issei's house, where he was in his room reading a little with Yuma, but suddenly a magic circle from the Gremory clan would appear from where Rias would come out, something that would surprise the two. Issei. Yuma. Chairwoman, that happens. At that point, you would come closer and say. Rias. Sorry for what I'm going to say Yuma, but please Issei, take my virginity as quickly as possible. Issei. President, why are you asking me that? Yuma. President, you can't ask Issei for that. He's mine and you have no right to ask him for that. Rias was going to start undressing, but Issei would interrupt her and say. Issei. President, you are not hiding something. Tell us what it is, and if it is something serious, I will see how to help you. And Yuma, right? Yuma. Yes, but you have to tell us what's happening to you. At that you would give a sigh and then tell him about your arranged engagement with Razor Phoenix and that she is forced to marry him. This would leave Issei and Yuma impressed, but at that Issei would say. Issei. And what would happen if you are released from that arranged engagement? Rias. Well, what would happen is that someone could have my hand to marry that person. Issei. Tell me one thing, President. You love me like Yuma-chan loves me. Be honest with me, since I've noticed that you're behaving strangely with me. Rias. Well, I do love you Issei, but I couldn't tell you since Yuma is your girlfriend and I thought she would get mad at me for being in love with you. Yuma. I don't mind, President, in fact I already knew that you were also in love with Issei, but I didn't want to say anything yet, but if you want to be with Issei-kun, I don't mind sharing it with you, since you are a great friend, because you gave me a second chance to be what I should be. Rias. Really, thank you, Yuma, thank you very much, but for now I'm leaving. I had to do something, but I escaped, so I'll see you tomorrow at the occult club. So Rias would go away in a magic circle, and then Issei would say. Issei. Seriously, you don't mind that I reciprocate the president's feelings? Yuma. No, I don't mind. After all, I want to ask you something. Issei. And what would that be? At that Yuma would pounce on Issei, and he would blush and say. Issei. You Yuma-chan, what are you doing? Yuma. Issei, I know it's sudden, but I'd like to do it with you. Issei surprised. What do you really want to do with me now? Yama. Yes, since I love you Issei-kun, and since we are boyfriend and girlfriend, I would like to have my first time with you Issei-kun, and tell me what you accept. Issei. Well I don't know what to say, but I would also like to do it with you Yama-chan. Yama. Then let's do it Issei-kun please I want to be yours. So Yama would begin to undress just like Issei, thus having both a passionate night where both would show each other how much they love each other that night, and luckily Yama learned to make magic seals that prevented the noise from leaving Issei's room. The next morning in Issei's room he was asleep hugging Yama. Both would wake up and look into each other's eyes and then give each other a tender and passionate kiss. Then they would take a bath together. Then they would get dressed and go with Asia to the occult club. On the way they would meet the Yashahime where they would greet them. Yama. Hello girls. Towa. Oh hello mother how are you? Yama. I'm fine but you guys. Setsuna. We're fine, we were doing some shopping. Issei. You guys are going to the occult club. Moroha. So, are you also going there? Asia. If that's really the case, why don't we go there together? Towa. That's an excellent idea. So everyone would go to the occult club where they would meet Mattel who was being accompanied by Kiba, so everyone would arrive at the club, but before entering Moroha would feel a sting and she would hit her neck to see the old man Myoga. Moroha. Hey old man Myoga can't you stop doing that for once in your life? Myoga. Of course not. Mattel. He's the one they told me about. Setsuna. Yes he is the flea Myoga. Mattel. Nice to meet you Myoga-sama. Myoga. The pleasure is mine. Upon entering the room everyone would see Rias at her desk and next to her was Akeno and Kaneko was on the couch, but everyone would see a woman dressed as a maid and then Towa would say. Towa. Hey, would you hear who she is? Grafiya. Let me introduce myself, my name is Grafiya, I am the servant of the Gremory clan and queen and wife of Surziches-sama, the current Mao Lucifer. Setsuna. Nice to meet you Grafiya-sama I'm Setsuna and she's my older sister Towa and she's our cousin Moroha. Grafiya. It's a pleasure to meet you. Towa Moroha. The pleasure is ours. Rias. Well girls, you already know about my situation and so do Issei and Yama and the rest, but you Asia and Mattel, I have to tell you what's happening. But before you laughed and said anything, a magic circle would appear, but this magic circle was wrapped in flames and from there a subject would come out who was none other than Razor Phoenix. Razor. It's been a while since you visited the human world and I'm glad to see you laughing so boldly. Mattel. And who is he supposed to be? Grafiya. Surely you don't know it, but I'll tell you, he is the Phoenix Razor, a high-class demon, and he is also the heir to the Phoenix family, and he is also Rias-sama's fiancé. Asia. He is the president's fiancé. Kiba. That's right. That's what Yama and Issei would be talking about. Issei. So he's the one the president told us about yesterday. Yama. I can't believe he's President Ria's fiancé. And that the Yashahime would be talking and these would be said in their thoughts. Towa Setsuna Moroha. So we finally see him in person, the Phoenix Razor who was made Ria's fiancé. Chapter 5. The Gremory clan training begins. The raiding game begins. Previously Hisui and Riku had arrived at the world where the Yashahime are then the days would pass where the Yashahime trained and apart Moroha trained Kaneko to master her Nekomata power, then some things happened like for example, that the Yashahime met Sona Citri and her nobility, where after the Gremory clan left for the relatives Towa and Setsuna, they met Riku and Hisui, where they would tell them what had happened to them, then Rias had asked Issei to take her virginity, but he said no and Rias told Issei and Yama about her arranged engagement with Razor Phoenix, and Rias told Issei that she loved him. After that Issei and Yama would have a passionate night where both showed the love they had for each other. After that the next day the Yashahime gathered the boys they went to the occult club where they met Grafiya, the clan-made Gremory, and also the queen and wife of Surziches, but Razor Phoenix would appear to interrupt what Rias was going to say, and everyone stared at him. What will happen now? Find out. Give him the intro. Meanwhile outside the occult club were Riku and Hisui looking at the place. Riku. Are you sure this is the place? Hisui. Yes, it's the place Itsuna told me about. Riku. We're in. Hisui. Good idea. Thus both would enter the occult club. Meanwhile inside the occult club. Everyone was watching how Razor behaved like a believer in that Rias would stand up and say. Rias. Leave me alone once and for all, understand it, Razor, I will never marry you. Razor. I doubt very much that your family would tolerate your behavior. Remember why you made the decision for us to get married. Rias. My father, my mother, my brother and everyone in my family are scared. I'll tell you for the last time, Razor. I will never marry you. At that Razor would grab Rias by the chin. Razor. Listen to me, I'm the heir to the Phoenix clan, and you know what I'm capable of, even setting fire to all your servants, even if it's by force, I'll take you with me to hell. At that the Yashahime would scream. Towa Setsuna Moroha. Hey, damn it, let Rias go. Razor. What the hell, they are part of your nobility. Rias. They are not just allies. Towa. Listen to us, idiot, we won't allow you to come to this place just to annoy us. Setsuna. It's incredible that someone like you is Ria's fiancé, but we still won't let you hurt her. Razor. How stupid your allies are, besides, you have some damn fallen angels in your nobility, how pathetic you are. And that Razor would receive a strong punch in the face that would make him retreat, and the one who hit him was Issei, who was angry. Issei. Damn, listen to me carefully. I'm not going to allow you to insult President Rias or me, Yuma-chan. If necessary, I'll fight you. Razor. Damn brat, you're going to regret it. That would be the case with the original story until when Grafiya tells them about the raiding game, but that's what Grafiya would say. Grafiya. And Rias-sama's allies can participate too. Moroha. Seriously, we can participate in the raiding game. Grafiya. That's right. At that moment they would knock on the door and Akeno would open it and then Riku and Hisui would enter. Rias. Akeno, who are they? Akeno. Well, they say they are looking for Towa and Setsuna. Towa Setsuna. Riku, Hisui. Everyone knows them. Riku. Hola Senorita Towa. Hisui. Hola Setsuna. Moroha. And how is it possible that you are here? Razor. This is so boring, I'm leaving. Issei. Razor, I made it clear to you that we will win. Razor. Yes, yes, whatever you say, brat. And so Razor would leave. Grafiya. Well, I'm leaving. Towa. I waited for Grafiya-sama. Grafiya. What's up? Towa. If Hisui and Riku become allies like us from the Gremory clan, they can also participate in the raiding game. Grafiya. If they agree to be allies there is no problem in answering the other question, if they can participate in the raiding game if that's all I'm leaving. So Grafiya would leave in a magic circle. After that, Towa and Setsuna would tell Riku and Hisui about the situation, and then they would agree to be allies of the Gremory clan, and everyone would go to sleep to go to the mountains and train the next day. Author's note. The days given to the Gremory clan to train are 10 days, end of note. The next morning everyone would be climbing a mountain, while Issei carried many things in his backpack, but unlike the original story he managed to support the weight, and after a few minutes everyone would arrive at a place where there is a house. Hisui. And whose house is that? Rias. It's a country house and it's mine. Author's note. Both Riku and Hisui have already told the Gremory clan about themselves and their abilities, end of note. Riku. Then we'll be here for the 10 days of training. Towa. Seems yes. Mattel. Great, I'm looking forward to getting strong. Rainer. Me too. Setsuna. Issei, you're the one who needs training the most, and that's why we already chose someone to train you. Towa. That's right, Riku will be the one who will train you. Issei, hey Mr. Riku will train me. Riku. Yes, I will train you and don't worry, I won't be so rude to you. Rias. Okay, let's go in and then start training. All. Yes. So everyone would go in and change to start training. Outside the country house the following would happen. Author's note 1. Ignore the scene that appears of Rainer and sorry if I can't find the subtitled video, but that's YouTube no way, end of note 1. Author's note 2. Imagine the trainer Mattel and the Yashahime and Riku and Hisui are there, end of note 2. Issei had launched a dragon shoot into a mountain which would surprise everyone. Mattel. That shot was really powerful. Mother. That's my Issei 1. Issei. Woo-oh, that was amazing. Hisui. Wow, Issei is really strong. Riku. But as you said, Miss Rias Issei must awaken her balance breaker. Rias. That's right Riku. Towa. Well, it's time to start training. Moroha. This will be Exitingie. Setsuna. Yes it will be. The training will be the same as in the original story, only here Rias and the others also trained Rainer and Mattel, while the Yashahime also trained Riku and Hisui, since they couldn't trust each other. The Yashahime would train the Gremory clan to improve their skills, and Moroha would enter Kaneko, and finally Kaneko had control over her Nekomata power. Setsuna and Hisui helped in the training of Rainer and Akeno and Mattel and Kiba, and the four would improve their skills, and their power would increase. Towa and Riku were in charge of training Asia, and Rias and Issei. Towa helped train Asia's healing power, and also helped train Ria's power, while Riku had been training Issei, and he got a deadly move. Author's note. In this story, Issei will not have the dream break since he is not a pervert and would not have that ability. You will see what his ability is, end of note. And that Issei would be sent flying by Riku. Riku. Come on Issei, get up, you have to get stronger, or do you want Miss Rias to marry that guy? Or what if we lose and that guy takes Yuma-san? Will you let that guy take the women you love? At that Issei would get up and the boosted gear would start to shine. Issei. I will not give up, I will become strong to protect Yuma-chan and President Rias because I love them and my motivation is to protect those I love but especially those two, so I will not give up because I am Hyoto Issei, the Red Emperor Dragon. At that moment a flash of light would blind everyone and then the following would happen. Issei had managed to activate his balance breaker and this would leave everyone impressed. Rias. Issei, can you control your balance breaker now? Issei. Yes, President, since I don't feel anything. Riku. Okay Issei then let's continue with your training. Issei. Entendido Riku-sensei. After a long fight in which Issei had managed to win the armor would disappear and Issei would fall to the ground tired. Mother. Issei-1 are you okay? Issei. Yes, Yuma-chan, I'm just a little tired. After that, everyone would be sleeping except for Rias, who was making strategies for the raiding game, and almost the same conversation would happen as in the original story. Meanwhile Towa was on the balcony watching the sky and the stars. Riku would approach and say. Riku. Miss Towa you are fine. Towa. Hey, yes, I'm fine, thanks. By the way, Riku, is it true that you are no longer under Zero's control? Riku. That's right, now I'm free and I'm with you, that makes me very happy. Towa. Haha thanks Riku, but I wanted to ask you something. Riku. Dime. Towa. You love me. Riku. Hey, yes, I love you, of course I love you, Miss Towa, why do you ask? Towa. You once told me that you didn't have enough love in your life because of that. Riku. But that was when I was under Zero's control. Now I do have enough love in my life and my heart, but tell me something, Miss Towa, you love me too. Towa. Haha how silly of course I love you Riku. So they would both give each other a strong hug, but after that they would quickly separate, blushing, and then go to sleep. The last few days of training had passed and everyone was ready for the raiding game. Everyone was already ready in the occult club and just like in the original story, Sona and Tsubaki would be the ones monitoring the raiding game, then Grafiya would arrive and say. Grafiya. Rias-sama is ready. Rias. Yes, we are ready. And that Grafiya would create a magic circle and everyone would be transported to the battlefield but everyone would see that they were still in the occult club. Riku. What happened? Issei. We're still here at the occult club. Issei. Maybe the magic circle didn't work. Towa Setsuna Moroha. That is happening. Rias. They just have to look out the window. At that point everyone would look out the window and see that the sky is green. Moroha. But what the heck, why is the sky green? Rias. We are in a pocket dimension, this dimension is one that is frequently used in raiding games, here you can be as reckless as you want. Moroha. Haha this will be fun. Author's note. Rainer and Mattel know what a pocket dimension is. End of note. Here everything would happen as in the original story until when Issei is in the gym with Kaneko, but Mattel and Moroha were also ready for combat. The fight would be like in the original story until they are about to attack Issei, he would take out his demon wings and say. Issei. Get ready, this is my deadly move. Moroha. What are you planning to do, Issei? Eniso Issei Gratoria. Issei. Great Emerald Flare. At that a large emerald-colored flame would be expelled from the boosted gear that would burn the razor pieces. Issei. Hahaha that's my death move that I learned thanks to Riku-sensei. At that Issei, Kaneko, Mattel and Moroha would leave the gym and then the gym would be destroyed by Akeno. Here it would happen like in the original story, only that Kaneko would not be eliminated since Moroha would prevent her from falling into the Razor Queen's trap and just like in the original story, Akeno would stay to fight against the Razor Queen. Meanwhile Towa and Riku had already eliminated 3 razor pieces. Towa. We have to go with the others, they might need our help. Riku. You're right, let's go. So Riku and Towa would go to where the others were. Meanwhile Hisui and Setsuna would head towards where Akeno was fighting against the Razor Queen. Setsuna. I'm sure the Razor Queen is planning something. Hisui. I know, I feel the same way too. We have to go help Akeno-san and quickly. Meanwhile, Towa and Riku would be watching how Issei and Kiba faced other pieces of Razor and also the sister of Razor. Towa. We have to help them. Riku. Calm down Miss Towa, just watch and you'll see that everything is fine. The following would happen. Watch this moment up to minute 249. Meanwhile, before the Queen of Razor Yuvaluna used the Phoenix Tears, Setsuna would arrive and take them away. Setsuna. So you wanted to use this to regenerate your wounds, well I don't think that will happen. Yuvaluna. Insolent brat, give that back to me. And that Setsuna would pass the phoenix tears to Akeno and instantly after using them her wounds would regenerate. Setsuna. You feel better Akeno. Akeno. Yes thanks to Setsuna. Yuvaluna. Damn, no matter what you do, you won't be able to defeat me. At that point Hisui would appear and launch his Hirokatsu at Yuvaluna and she would be sent flying. At that point Setsuna would launch the Swallow's Whip and they would hit Yuvaluna hard. At that point Setsuna would say. Setsuna. Akeno-san will finish her off. Akeno. You don't have to tell me. At that Akeno would throw a large lightning bolt that would finish off the Razor Queen. Voiceover. Razor Queen Phoenix has been eliminated. Hisui. We did it. Setsuna. Yes, but now we have to go help Rias. Akeno. Let's go. Meanwhile, Issei and Kiba were tired from their previous fight and Riku and Towa approached. Riku. Good job Issei and Kiba did well. Towa. They were amazing. Issei. Haha thank you very much. Kiba. Now we have to help the president. At that moment, Miroha, Kaneko and Mattel arrived, having already finished off the other razor pieces. Towa. All that's left is to finish off the razor. Then Setsuna, Hisui and Akeno would arrive, then Yashahime, along with Issei, would go to where Rias was. Meanwhile Rias was in her fight against Razor but was receiving help from Yuma, but both were tired. Razor. Give up now, neither you nor that fallen angel will be able to defeat me. Rainer. Shut up, we'll win. Rias. You're right Rainer, we will win. Razor, how boring, just die already. Issei. Receiver. And that everyone would see that someone fell where they were and it was Issei who was with the Yashahime. Rias Rainer. Issei Art. Razor. It's you and apart from the silly allies of Rias. Towa. Listen Razor, now you will face the four of us. Setsuna. We will be the ones to defeat you. Miroha. That's right. Issei. Girls, you protect Yuma-chan and President Rias, let me raise. Towa. Seguro Issei. Issei. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Miroha. Well, that's fine, we trust you. Setsuna. And don't die. That's what Issei would say. Issei. I'll finish you off once and for all. And then the following would happen. Author's note. Ignore the purple thing XD end of note. At that point Issei had activated his balance breaker and that made the pressure in the place very strong. Issei. Well fried chicken, it's time to finish you off. Razor. Damn, now you're dead. At that moment, Issei would start hitting Razor at high speed and he would not be able to defend himself from Issei's brutal attacks. After 35 minutes, Issei had Razor by the neck and at that moment, the armor's helmet would open and Issei would be seen and he would say. Issei. Razor this is over listen to me well I loved Rias Gremory and I won't let an idiot like you get close to her, the same will also happen to someone who tries to get close to my Yuma-chan. At that Issei would throw Razor into the sky and Issei would launch a dragon shoot that would hit Razor directly and he would fall to the ground unable to move. Voice from the speakers. Razor Phoenix has been defeated, the winner is Rias Gremory. At that everyone would rejoice and be transported back to the occult club. Where everyone would be happy since they managed to save Rias from her commitment after that everyone would start celebrating their victory in the raiding game by eating and burning fireworks. After that, everyone would go to their respective homes while the girls would go to have a sleepover. Later the Yashahime were at the occult club having fun in their own way while Towa was outside the club watching the stars when Riku approached and sat next to Towa. Riku. I see you still like to see stars. Towa. Yes, it is something beautiful. Riku. Miss Towa, there is something I must tell you. Towa. And what is it? Riku. Close your eyes and you'll know. At that Towa would close her eyes, but suddenly she would open them since Riku had given her a kiss on the lips. This would surprise Towa, but after a few seconds she would reciprocate the kiss and then they would separate due to lack of air. Riku. With this kiss I tell you that I love you Towa, now I have love in my heart and that is you who gives me love. Towa. Riku, maybe I said I didn't know much about love, but now I do since you awakened that in me, so I love you too, Riku. At that moment, both of them would kiss passionately again and when they separated, a thin thread of saliva joined them. Riku. I love you my princess. Towa. And I you my prince. So both would kiss again, while that happened Setsuna Miroha and Hisui watched the scene with happiness. Setsuna. I'm glad my sister found someone to love. Hisui. You're right. Miroha. This is a little dramatic, but I'm still happy for Towa. Hisui. What do you think happened now? Setsuna. I don't know, but we have to keep protecting this world. Miroha. I think the same although I have a feeling that a new adventure awaits us in this world and it will be exciting. So the three would continue watching the beautiful scene of Towa and Riku. New opening and ending and new characters for this story. Hello Wattpad people, how are you? I hope you are well here I bring you information about the new opening and ending for this story. Obviously I did my best and analyzed possible openings and endings for this story, and it was not that difficult, but it was still a little complicated for me, since I had some problems looking for openings and endings, since I sometimes use covers of anime openings, the same happens with the endings, and sometimes I use the openings in Japanese as well as the endings. But also if you have seen the previous chapter of this story you will already know that the events of the first season of High School DxD have already finished, and now in the following chapters, the events of the second season of High School DxD will begin. Apart from that I want to add 3 characters from other worlds, since I think they will be of great help to the Gremory clan, and the Yashahime also one of them will be Miroha's partner. Well, I will show you who those characters are. First there is Mia from Monster Musume. Well, I know that the Monster Musume anime is not about a lot of action and all that, but I think that if she joins the Gremory clan and becomes a demon, despite that she will still be a Lamia, but if she joins the Gremory clan, she will be able to defend herself better. Also I have not seen much Monster Musume, but I have seen fanfics of the anime, and I can say that Mia seems to me to be a very funny character, as well as Poppy the Harpy talking about her. She will also be part of this story along with Mia, both will arrive in the world of High School DxD, but something happened to them in their dimension, you will know what it is. Well, the last character who will be Miroha's partner will be this one. Yes, Wave from Akame ga Kill will be in this story, and he will be Miroha's partner, and I know that many will say that Wave doesn't make sense for him to be Miroha's partner, but I tell you that I'm trying to ship this, because I think the two of them would be a good couple. Well, those would be the new characters that will appear in this story, but now I will show you the new opening and ending of this story. New opening for this story. Number 1 of Boku no Hero Academia Latin Spanish cover. Singer. David Delgado. Now the new ending of this story. New ending for this story. Heroes of Boku no Hero Academia Latin American Spanish version. Singer. Chris Fuentes or Al Inicio. Chapter 6. A new adventure begins. The church's envoys appear. Previously our protagonist saw what Razor Phoenix was like, heir to the Phoenix clan, where the Yashahime together with Issei got angry, seeing how Rias was treated by Razor to free Rias from her arranged engagement. Grafiya proposed that everyone have a raiding game, where to train the Gremory clan. The Yashahime together with Riku and Hisui helped the Gremory clan train, where Issei obtained a deadly movement and also managed to control his balance breaker, where later in the raiding game everyone fought against Razor's pieces, where everyone won, so that in the end Issei managed to defeat Razor, thus winning the Gremory clan and the Yashahime together with Riku and Hisui. The raiding game, where after celebrating Riku confessed to Towa what he felt for her, and she also felt the same, thus becoming a couple, where Hisui and Setsuna and Miroha saw all that. What will happen now? Find out. Play the new intro. It had been a week after the raiding game against Razor Phoenix, where everyone did the things that always corresponded to them. Apart from that, after the raiding game Rias went to live with Issei, since now that he is her fiancé, she did not want to leave it clear for a second to Yuma. It did not bother her, since after all, she told Issei that it did not bother her to share him with Rias. Also in that week, Miroha managed to get Kaneko to master her Nekomata power 100%, and in that week, Hisui confessed his feelings to Setsuna, where she also told her feelings to Hisui, so both like Towa and Riku became a couple. Also Mattel and Rainer, together with Asia, they improved a little more in the contracts. Present. In the occult club, Towa and Setsuna are seen in Yashahime's room sleeping peacefully until they both wake up because they smelled breakfast, so they went out like Mattel to see and were surprised to see Miroha making breakfast. Miroha. Oh, good morning girls. Mattel. Miroha-san, I didn't know you cooked. Towa. We didn't even know. Miroha. Haha, well, you see, what happens is that I asked Akeno-san to teach me how to cook and I was able to learn, so I will prepare breakfast from now on. Setsuna. Wow, that sounds amazing. At that point Miroha would serve breakfast and the girls would start eating, and they were all surprised because Miroha's food was delicious. 20 minutes later. Mattel had left for the academy without being seen leaving the occult club, where the Yashahime would stay to chat as always. Towa. You know, during this week that passed since the raiding game, many things happened. Setsuna. Like for example you and Riku, who became a couple, and that makes me happy. Towa. You too, Hisui became your boyfriend, and that also makes me happy to see you happy. Setsuna. Haha, thanks sister. Miroha. Wow, you guys are really quite imaginative when it comes to love. Towa. And as we said and will continue to say, sooner or later you will end up falling in love. Setsuna. And you can't help that. Miroha. Yes, of course, we'll see about that. At that Miroha would feel a prick on her neck and she would hit her neck and see that it is the old Myoga. Miroha. Hello, Elder Myoga, what do you want? Myoga. To say that in my opinion I think that sooner or later you will end up falling in love, since you are a bit like your father, who loved Inuyasha. Towa. Hey, old man Myoga, could you tell us a little about Moroha's parents? Setsuna. We're curious to know. Moroha. To tell you the truth, you only mentioned my parents and never told me about them. Myoga. Well, listen carefully. So Myoga would tell the Yashahime everything about Inuyasha and Kagome, so the Yashahime would be surprised to hear all that, but the most surprised was Moroha to hear about the adventures and how brave her parents were. Moroha. Woo-oh, that's incredible, it seems that my parents are the best, but I would still like to see them. Myoga. Sooner or later you will see them, Moroha, be sure of it. Towa. It's true, don't lose hope of seeing them again. Setsuna. We are here with you. Moroha. Thanks girls. Later the Yashahime continued talking until the Gremory clan arrived. Rias. Hello girls, how are you? Towa. Well, we're fine. Akeno. Eugen and Rich and Hisui. Setsuna. In fact, they should be arriving now. Then Hisui and Riku would enter where they would greet the others and then go to hug their respective girlfriends. Rias. Listen to me girls, our meeting will be at Issei's house. Moroha. And why is that? Author's note. Yashahime along with Riku and Hisui also make contracts. End of note. Rias. Well, because today is the cleaning of the building, so that's why we won't be able to have our meeting here. Setsuna. Well, that sounds reasonable. Yama. Besides, it will be fun, don't you think? Towa. You're right. Issei. Well then let's go at once, don't you think? Rias. Yes, you're right, Issei-kun. In that moment everyone would arrive at Issei's house and everyone was in his room. Author's note. Here Issei if you know how to make contracts. End of note. Rias. Okay, let's see the progress of all the contracts they obtained. At that point Rias would start reading a page. The amount of the rest of the club will be the same as in the original story. Asia. But when Issei and Yama got contracts apart from Mattel and the girls and Mr. Riku and Hisui. Rias. Issei had 14 contracts and I'm glad you improved on the contracts. Issei, thank you President. Rias. And as for Yama and Mattel both had 10 contracts, congratulations. Yama Mattel, thank you President. Rias. And well Riku and Hisui had a quantity of 16 contracts and Towa and Setsuna obtained a quantity of 18 contracts, congratulations. All four at the same time. Thank you. Rias. And finally Moroha she obtained a quantity of 25 contracts. All. Wide. Towa. But how did you get that amount? Moroha. I remind you that I am someone who kills demons and that I get paid when I fulfill my obligations, but I am also a master of persuasion, so the contracts were not that difficult for me. Rias. Well, congratulations, Moroha. Moroha. Haha thank you very much. Later, everything from the original story would happen here and everyone would know about the Sacred Sword Excalibur project and that Kiba is a survivor of the project. The conversation between Rias and Sona about the church's envoys and their going to the occult club would also happen. Everything would continue as in the original story until the confrontation between Issei and Kiba against Erina and Zenovia, where Issei would defeat Erina, but Kiba would lose. But that's what Towa would talk about. Towa. Hey blue-haired girl, your name is Zenovia, right? Zenovia. That's right. Towa. Well, I'll be the one to face you now. Setsuna. Come on sister, you can do it. Riku. Be very careful, princess. Towa. I'll have it. Thus both would get into a combat stance where they would begin to clash their swords where Towa, already having more experience in combat, would find it easier to have the combat in her favor. Zenovia would be surprised to see how Towa was beating her in that. Towa would scream to end the combat. Towa. This is over, take this, great blue dragon clash. Thus a great celestial dragon would impact Zenovia, leaving her out of combat. Where Erina and Zenovia would later leave. Just like in the original story, Issei and Kaneko would try to help Kiba with the help of Saji, where Yashahime and Riku and Hisui would also help, where just like in the original story, Kiba would tell them about his past, then the meeting with Fried would happen, where he would start to fight against Setsuna and Moroha. Fried. You damn brats have had enough of me. Setsuna. You also have us fed up with you always showing up to bother us. Moroha. You do need a psychologist. Then what happened in the original story would happen where Issei and Saji would receive a punishment, but Rias being in love with Issei would not give Issei such a strong punishment. Then everyone would return to their respective homes and the Yashahime together with Riku and Hisui would go to the occult club. Meanwhile, in another place, a man sitting on a throne could be seen, who was Kakabiel. Kakabiel. You already have everything planned, Balper. Balper. Yes, my lord Kakabiel, everything is ready. Fried. But how do you plan to defeat those brats? Mysterious voice. Leave that to us. In that shadows two of the four dangers would emerge, which were Konten and Kayuki. Kakabiel. They will help us against those brats you mentioned, Freed. I'm counting on you, Kanten and Kayuki. Kanten. Don't worry, Kakabiel, let us take care of the Yashahime. Kayuki. Yes, they will fall. Kakabiel. If in addition to Rainer being in the Gremory clan, it will be a good time to finish her off, prepare yourselves because I, Kakabiel, will make you suffer, hahaha, hahaha, hahaha. Kanten Kayuki. Soon you will fool Yashahime together with her demon friends hahaha hahaha. Chapter 7. The Battle at Kuo Academy. 2 of the 4 dangers appear. Previously our protagonists had talked a little, and the old man Myoga told the Yashahime about Moroha's parents. After that everyone gathered at Issei's house to see the number of contracts made, where then Kiba began to act strange. After that 2 girls arrived who were sent by the church, where they told them the situation of the theft of the sacred swords Excalibur, where then Issei and Kiba fought against Zenovia and Arena, where Issei won, but Kiba lost where then Towa faced Zenovia and Towa ended up winning the confrontation. Then everyone would help to find the sacred swords Excalibur, and after a confrontation against Freed and Balper appeared and took Freed away, everyone would return home, but not before Saji receiving a punishment, but Issei almost received a great punishment. On the other hand, Kakabiel was already planning everything to attack the Kuo Academy, but also with the help of 2 of the 4 dangers that were Kanten and Kayuki, those who want to destroy the Yashahime. What will happen now? Find out now. Press the new intro. The next day at Issei's house, and Issei is seen sleeping peacefully until he feels how his 2 arms were hugging him, and when he wakes up he would see how Rias and Yuma were hugging his arms tightly. Issei would only look at both of them with a smile. Issei's thoughts. Issei. Wow, I never thought that 2 girls would love me so much. I feel happy when I'm with Yuma-chan and Rias-san. That's when Dreg would appear in Issei's mind. Dreg. Hello buddy, how are you? Issei. All things considered, but I'm a little nervous since we don't know what Kakabiel can do with the sacred swords Excalibur, and I'm also afraid that something might happen to Yuma-chan and Rias-san. Dreg. Calm down, buddy. Remember that you were able to defeat Razor and you have good control of the balance breaker. I think you're capable of taking down Kakabiel. Issei. Yes, you're right, Dreg. There are also the girls, and they, along with Riku and Hisui, are very strong. Dreg. See, partner, you have nothing to worry about, everything is fine now, but for now, concentrate on defeating Kakabiel when he shows up. Issei. I'll keep that in mind, thanks Dreg. Out of your thoughts. Issei would start to get up without Yuma and Rias getting up, and then he would get them up himself. Issei. Presidente Rias, Yuma-chan despierta in esta dia. At that, Yuma and Rias would get up and greet him, and then both give him a kiss on the lips. Then they would get ready to go to Kuo Academy with Asia. Meanwhile in the occult club we see the Yashahime talking a little about the current situation, then something would come up that would surprise the Yashahime. Setsuna. Mattel-san, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be in your classes. Mattel. Well, I went and met Sona Kaichu, and I was surprised to find out that there were no classes today, can you believe it? Moroha. Well, I do believe it. Then the rest of the occult club would arrive. Towa. Let me guess, they also found out that they didn't have classes. All? Yes. Moroha. Hey, how do you think Kiba is doing in finding that Balper? Rias. Well, I hope things are going well for you. At that moment, Ria's relative would arrive and tell her that he had found Arena injured. Just like in the original story, Kakabiel would appear to warn that he would attack Kuo Academy, but that's what he would say. Kakabiel. You are a damn Rainer, you and Mattel will die. Moroha. Hey you stupid crow, you'll be the one who dies. On that. Mysterious voice. I highly doubt it, half-demon princess. Then 2 people would appear that Yashahime, Riku and Hisui know perfectly well. Towa. It can't be, it's impossible. Issei. I can imagine that they are one of the 4 dangers that we were told about. Rainer. But who are those 2? Setsuna. Lawmager S. Kayuki. Moroha. And the idiot over there with the old face is Kanten. Kanten. Finally, I'll be able to kill half-demon princesses. Kayuki. And so even if we are in another world, Lord Kirimaru will be happy that you are dead. Towa. We'll see about that. Kakabiel. Bye idiots, see you later. At that Kakabiel would leave, and then the whole fight would be like in the original story, until when Issei activates the second release booster dragon and starts fighting Kakabiel. Meanwhile the Yashahime together with Riku and Hisui faced Kanten and Kayuki. Kanten. Surrender, half-demon princesses, you can't beat us. Towa. We will never ever give up on that. Moroha. We will continue fighting no matter what happens. Setsuna. So we will continue fighting against you. Riku. Besides, they have us. Hisui. And we are not going to give up easily. Kayuki. Well if you don't say then you will die. At that Kayuki would transform and continue the fight. Meanwhile, Issei, unlike the original story, was giving Kakabiel a great beating while Rias and Rainer watched their beloved brown-haired boy with a big smile. Kakabiel. There's no way you're beating me. Issei. It's time to finish you off once and for all, get ready. The following would happen. Kakabiel had been surprised to see Issei's balance breaker. Kakabiel. It can't be like you have such great power. Issei. Let me make this very clear to you, I am Issei Hyodo, the bearer of the Red Emperor Dragon, and now die once and for all. Then Iso Issei Gratoria. Issei. Great Emerald Flurry. In that, Issei's attack would be launched towards Kakabiel who could not dodge the attack, so the Great Flame would end up burning Kakabiel. Issei. Uff, good thing I managed to finish him off. Rainer. Issei-kun, you did it, you beat Kakabiel, I'm happy that you managed to beat him. Rias. You did it, Issei-kun, I'm glad you're by my side. Issei. I will always be here to protect you both because I love you. Rias. Rainer. We love you too, Issei-kun. Zenovia. Ahem, sorry for interrupting your romantic moment, but I remind you that the girls over there joined those two boys and are still fighting against those two over there. Kiba. It's true, we have to help them. Rias. Walking. And that they would see that the Yashahime together with Riku and Hisui were surpassing Kanten and Kayuki. Kanten. Damned ones won't be able to beat us. Kayuki. Vanamore. Riku. Miss Towa, how about we do a combined attack? Towa. It's a good idea, Riku. Love, listen girls, what do you say? Satsuna Maroha. That's a good idea. Hisui. Good luck. At that point the Yashahime would begin to give off an aura of great power. Hineko. The girls are going to do a combined attack. Mattel. Yes, you girls can finish them off. At that the girls would scream as they launched their attacks. Towa. Take this, Blue Dragon Shock. Satsuna. Explosive Cyclone. Maroha. Bite the Dust Crimson Dragon Wave. At that point the attacks would be directed towards Kanten and Kayuki, at that point the Yashahime would scream. Towa Satsuna Maroha. Triple attack combined. At that the attacks would hit Kanten and Kayuki, and both would scream. Kanten Kayuki. No, you can't see. Thus both would disappear forever. At that point everyone would come to see the Yashahime. Rias. You are fine girls. Towa. Yes, I'm fine, and you guys? Satsuna. I'm fine too. Maroha. Yes, we won, we did it. Mattel. It's true, we managed to defeat Kakabiel and also those two members of the Four Dangers. Towa. Hey Kiba, it's good that you could avenge your friends. Satsuna. And remember that wherever they are they will always be in your heart. Kiba. Yes, thank you. At that the old man Myoga would come out and say. Myoga. Congratulations to all of you for winning. Maroha. Hahaha, thanks old man Myoga. At that point Zenovia would approach and she would see the old man Myoga. Zenovia. Hey, who's talking, flea? Maroha. He is the flea Myoga. Myoga. Nice to meet you, young lady. Zenovia. The pleasure is mine, Myoga-sama. At that the Yashahime would feel a power above them and would look up and see a boy with white armor with blue wings. At that the boy would come down and would see his surroundings. Boy. Wow, it seems the Kakabiel is no longer here. Issei. Why am I trembling? That's what Drake would talk about. Drake. Hello white buddy. Rias surprised. Issei's glove speaks. Rainer. I didn't expect that. At that, another voice would be heard, which was Albion the White Dragon Emperor. Albion. Hello red colleague. Issei. Wait a minute, that means he is. Riku. As Miss Rias said, apart from the Red Emperor Dragon, there is also the White Emperor Dragon, that means that he is. Hisui. He's your rival. Issei surprised. My rival. Drake. This is not the time for this reunion. Albion. Don't worry, we'll have our fight soon. At that the boy's armor would disappear, revealing that the boy is a white-haired boy. Riku. Hey, could you tell us your name? Boy. Sure, I have no problem. My name is Vali, I am the bearer of the White Emperor Dragon. Hisui. Nice to meet you. Vali. Tell me which of you is the one who defeated Kakabiel. Issei. Hey, it was me. Vali. I assume so since it seems that you are a strong Red Emperor Dragon. Albion. Hey red buddy, who are the people who are with you, because I feel a great power within them, especially those three girls. Greg. Well, it may seem crazy to you, but those three are not from this world and those two boys are not from this world either. Albion. Well, it sounds a little crazy, but it's believable. Ali. Well, I'm leaving. I'll inform Azazel about this. By the way, Red Emperor Dragon. I hope to be able to face you and see what you're made of. Issei. It's okay. At that point, Vali would withdraw, leaving everyone very impressed. At that point, Sona would arrive along with her entourage. Sona. Wow, what I saw left me impressed, you girls are so strong. Towa. It's not that bad. Setsuna. It's true, we're only doing this for your own good. Moroha. That's true, but for now, let's go home since I'm sleepy. Sona. Well, we'll see each other tomorrow then. With that, Sona would leave with her entourage, then everyone would start to go to their respective homes. The Yashahime, together with Mattel, Riku and Issei, would go to the occult club to rest. Once there, everyone would go to their respective rooms, but before falling asleep, the Yashahime would think about what happened with the White Emperor Dragon. Towa Setsuna Moroha. How strong can this volley be? Chapter 8. Fun Day. The Mau Leviathan appears. Previously our protagonists along with Riku and Issei and the Gremory clan together with Zenovia finally came face to face with Kakabeel, but the Yashahime were surprised to see Kyuki and Kanten members of the Four Dangers after that they had all fought against Kakabeel, while the Yashahime together with Riku and Issei they faced against Kanten and Kyuki, then Issei with his balance breaker would defeat Kakabeel, while the Yashahime with a combined attack would finish off the two members of the Four Dangers. Then the bearer of the White Emperor Dragon Volley appeared wherever he is he would leave, saying that soon he will face Issei, while the Yashahime wondered how strong Volley is. What will happen now? Find out. Play the new intro. The next morning everyone in the occult club could be seen talking, while Mattel and Kaneko played a game of chess, but in that Kaneko would say. Kaneko. And let's win Mattel-senpai. Mattel. That's not fair, Kaneko, you always beat me. Setsuna. Don't feel bad Mattel-san, I'm sure that sooner or later you'll beat Kaneko at chess. Mattel. It's okay. Kiba. Hey, Towa-san knows where Moroha-san is. Towa. She said she was going to walk around town for a while. Kaneko. Well, I hope Moroha-senpai doesn't get lost. At that Kaneko would hit her neck and she would see that in her hand was the flea Myoga. Kaneko. I really don't know how Moroha-senpai can put up with you, Myoga-sama. Myoga. Don't be rude young lady, I always need to feed on a little blood. Mattel. Aren't you supposed to always be with Moroha-san? Why aren't you with her? Myoga. Yes, but this time I let her go out alone. Issei. Hahaha, at least respect privacy. Myoga. What did you say, Brad Issei? Issei. Tranquilo no se offenda pura Yuma-chan y la presidenta Rias. Yuma. Ah well she is about to arrive. At that the door would open showing Rias, but she was accompanied by Zenovia, who was wearing the Kuo Academy uniform. Zenovia. Hello Red Emperor and strange girls. Issei. And what are you doing here? Rias. Feel welcome. Issei. Edo President, what's going on here? Yuma. Why is she here? Rias. Well, I present to you the new piece of the Gremory family and her name is Zenovia IV. Issei. That means you are. Asia. A demon. Zenovia. Exactly. Setsuna. I can assume that you became a demon from what Kakabeel said. Zenovia. That's what it's like to find out that our Lord no longer exists. That hurt me a lot and I started praying to be reborn and to be honest, I feel strange having joined my enemies. She is the devil's sister and those girls, I have no idea why they are so strong. Rias. And it is also convenient for us to have someone who can use the Durandal, she together with Kiba can be like a pair of wings. Towa. You have a point. Zenovia. I'm going to start my third year at Kuo Academy. Issei. You speak kindly with a bitter face. Riku. That's what's called offending, you know. Issei. Haha, that's true, sorry. Zenovia. But with Arena I failed to convince her, but even so I chose this so I'm sure of what I did, enlighten me Sir Ouch. Mattel. Hahaha, that happens a lot here. Issei. Well, that happens a lot. Rias. By the way, and Moroha, where is it? Towa. She went for a walk, but she'll be back. Rias. Well, that's fine. Akeno. Try to get along with Zenovia. Zenovia. By the way, I would like to know about you two and your other friend. Setsuna. She's actually our cousin. At that Zenovia would hit her neck and see the flea Myoga in her hand. Zenovia. But what was I doing Myoga-sama? Myoga. Well, I feed a little on your blood, what else? Zenovia. He's always like that. Towa. If you have no idea. Then everyone would go to their classrooms and Towa Setsuna, Riku, and Issei would stay and talk in the club. Meanwhile with Moroha. She was walking around Kuo City, but then she arrived at the park where she appeared with Towa and Setsuna and where they met Rainer. Moroha. How nostalgic to see this place, I wonder how the old woman Keat is, she must surely be looking for us. In that, being distracted, Moroha would bump into someone. Moroha. Ouch, that hurt. Sorry I didn't notice. Moroha. Don't worry, I'm the one who was distracted. Allow me to help you. Moroha. Okay, lots of thanks. But Moroha wouldn't finish speaking because when she looked up, she would be surprised and blushed to see that the person she had collided with was a blue-haired boy who seemed pretty to her. "Chico? Let me help you." Moroha blushed. "Okay, thank you very much." At that Moroha with the help of the boy would get up. Then Moroha's thoughts. Moroha. Who is this boy? Those clothes he has look a little strange, but he still looks very cute, huh? What the heck am I thinking? Out of your thoughts. Boy. Hey, are you okay? Moroha. Sure if I'm okay, by the way my name is Moroha. Boy. Nice to meet you Moroha, my name is Wave and it's a pleasure to meet you. Moroha. The pleasure is mine, by the way, Wave, you're not from around here, right? Wave. Well no, I come from another city. Moroha. Well it's good to meet you, but for now I have to go, but maybe we'll see each other soon. Wave. Okay, see you. Moroha. Yes, goodbye Wave. So both would go their separate ways. And Wave's thoughts. Wave. Who will she be? I felt something in her, besides that she looks very pretty. Concentrate Wave, well for now I will continue killing those renegade demons, but the good thing is that I came up with a lie so as not to say that she came from another world. Out of your thoughts. Wave would continue walking down the street while being somewhat thoughtful. Meanwhile with Moroha. She had already arrived at the occult club and Towa and Setsuna explained to her that Zenovia is now part of the Gremory clan, which surprised Moroha. Then everything would happen like in the original story, up to when the occult club was cleaning the pool. At that moment, the Yashahime would arrive, along with Riku and Issei, and they would see that the boys already had the pool clean. Rias. You girls want to have some fun. Author's note. Here the Yashahime have already told Zenovia about themselves, end of note. Towa. Well I don't know the truth, I think it happened. Setsuna. Me too. Riku. Well, I'll pass too. Issei. Equally. Moroha. I do want to have fun so I accept. Bakeno. Ara, it's good that I bought you this swimsuit, you just have to get dressed, and that's it. Moroha. Okay. Rias. And what will you do then? Towa. Well in case of emergencies I will go to train, come with me Setsuna. Setsuna. Sure, I could use some training. Riku. Well be careful Princess Towa, Issei, and I will go train somewhere else. Towa. It's okay, take care, love. Riku. Haha okay. So they would both kiss and then go in different directions. Author's note. This wouldn't happen when Zenovia asks Issei to give her a child, end of note. A little while later everyone was still having fun while Yuma had fallen asleep in a chair. At that moment, Rias would grab Issei and take him to a warehouse. Issei. Hey, presidents, what are we doing here? Rias. Issei-kun, I know it's very sudden and I already know what Yuma it was your first time, but now I want you to be my only and first time. Nervous Issei. At that, Rias would get on top of Issei and then begin to kiss him and then look at him with lust. Rias. Issei-kun, please make me yours. Issei. Edo, of course Rias is fine, after all I love you too, and in fact I already had the feeling that you would ask me. At that moment they both started kissing and in that warehouse they showed each other how much they loved each other, no matter what. Author's note. You should already know what happened so I won't describe it completely until the end of this post. A few hours later everyone could be seen in the occult club, although Yuma looked a little upset since Rias didn't tell her anything about being with Issei while she slept. Author's note. Here everything would happen as in the original story until Father's Day, end of note. Afterwards everyone would be outside the occult club where the Yashahime were also together with Riku and Issei until they heard some screams. Towa. What's going on there? Moroha. What are they excited about? There they would hear some boys saying something about a photoshoot with a girl dressed as a magical girl. Setsuna. They said something about a magical girl. Riku. Issei. We don't understand. Rias. It can't be. Bakeno. Ara. At that point everyone would enter the gym and see a girl dressed as a magical girl. Seeing that, the Yashahime would be surprised. Moroha. And what the hell is that girl using? Issei. It's a costume from an anime about magical girls. Asia. And how do you know about that, Issei-san? Mattel. It's true as you know. Issei. That's why a regular customer made me watch the anime. And that they would see that everyone had left and that Saji was talking to the magical girl and that Issei, Moroha and Yuma and Asia would approach. Issei. Go Saji, always working hard, right? Moroha. Ha 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 ha, how funny to see how you do your work. Saji. You shut up Hyodo, and you too Moroha-san. At that moment the gym door would open revealing that it was Sona. Sona. Saji, what's happening here? What's all the fuss about? Saji. President, well, she'll see. Magical girl. I finally found you, Sona-chan. At that the magical girl would go and hug Sona while she was nervous. Magical girl. Oh Sona-chan, what's wrong with you? You're blushing. You should be happy, right? You're happy to see your dear sister again, because I am. Although now that I'm here, I wouldn't mind having a little sisterly fun where you say Wani-chan and I say So-tan. Towa. What the hell is that girl talking about? Setsuna. I'm getting confused. Rias. She is a seraph of the Leviathan, one of the 4 current Mau, and she is Sona's sister. All. Sister. Yama. I didn't know that the Mau Leviathan was Sona Kaichu's sister. Mattel. I didn't even know. In that, Rias would come closer. Rias. Seraphil-sama, how long since I saw you? Seraphil. Oh Rias-chan, it's nice to see you again. Rias. I assume you came to Father's Day too. Seraphil. Yes, but Sona-chan didn't tell me anything about that. She's very mean. She was so angry that she almost destroyed the sky. Rias. Well, you know how Sona is. Sona. Rias, I remind you that I'm here listening. Issei. Wow, Sona's sister Kaichu is very pretty. Mother. That said Issei won. Issei. Calm down, I just said that and it's not that I like her anymore if I already have you as the president. Yama. More than worth it. And that Seraph would see Issei, and she would be surprised and would blush seeing how handsome Issei was, but that would be noticed by Rias and Yama, who upon seeing that would be surprised. Seraphil. Hey Rias-chan, that boy is the Red Emperor Dragon. Rias. Yes it is him. At that Issei would approach and greet politely. Seraphil. It's incredible that I'm in front of you, plus I had seen Rias-chan's rating game, and I was surprised to see that you defeated Razor Phoenix, in addition to defeating Kakabiel. This is the best day of my life. In that, Seraphim would hug Issei, something that would surprise everyone as well as Sona, but Rias and Yama would be thinking the same thing. Rias Yama. Acaso Seraphil-sama si enamorado en nuestro Issei-kun. At that, Seraphil would blush and stop hugging Issei. Seraphil. Heh sorry about that. Issei. No pasa nada Gij. Sona. But still, sister, listen to me carefully, even if you are family, you cannot be here in that outfit. Seraphil. You're so bad so tan, you know I like to dress like this. By the way Rias-chan, when I saw the rating game of your clan against the Razor clan I saw some strange people and I wanted to see if they were here. Rias. Of course girls, introduce yourselves, as well as Yuriku and Hisui. Towa. Hello, nice to meet you Seraphil-sama, my name is Towa Higurashi and she is my younger sister Setsuna. Setsuna. Nice to meet you. Seraphil. Well, the pleasure is mine. Riku. Hola Seraphil-sama, mi nombre es Riku. Hisui. And I am Hisui. Moroha. Hello, I'm Moroha. I'm Towa and Setsuna's cousin. I also have to say that your magical girl costume is incredible. Seraphil. Thank you so much for your compliment. At that, Sona would hide behind Towa and Setsuna and they would see that Sona was shedding a few small tears. Towa. It sounds like something bad happened. Sona. I can't stand it anymore, take her away from me. Setsuna. I don't understand, maybe you don't like your sister being here. Sona. I don't like it. Seraphil. But Sona-chan, did I do something wrong? Towa. Sona, you shouldn't be like that, she's your sister, and if you have problems, you just have to fix them. Setsuna. Yes, and even I had those kinds of problems, but between times we solved it, so we'll leave you alone with your sister so you can talk, okay? Sona. It's okay. So everyone would leave the gym after several minutes. Seraphil and Sona would come out who fixed their problems, and then Seraphil would go to the occult club together with the Yashahime, together with Riku and Hisui, since the others had to go to their classes. Later at the club, the Yashahime would tell Seraphil everything about themselves and that they are from another world, leaving Seraphil very impressed. Seraphil. Wow, it's amazing that you guys come from another world and I'm even surprised by the adventures you've had. Moroha. Not to brag, but we are very good at defeating enemies. Towa. Don't presume so much. Setsuna. By the way, Seraphil-sama, I have something to ask you. Seraphil. And what would that be? Setsuna. When you hugged Issei you blushed and wanted to know if you fell in love with Issei. Nervous Seraphil. Hey, that's okay, me. Moroha. Don't worry, we won't tell anyone, your secret will be safe with all of us. Seraphil. Okay, I think I did fall in love with Ice-chan, but I don't know if I should tell him since how can I see he's already with Rias-chan and that fallen angel with violet eyes, and also I don't know if he accepted my feelings. Towa. Well, the same thing happened with Rias, she thought that Issei wouldn't reciprocate her feelings, but he did reciprocate them. Yama-san wasn't bothered about it, so I think she wouldn't mind if you told Issei your feelings. Seraphil. Well, when the day of the meeting comes, I'll tell him what I feel for him. Thanks girls, by the way, we're friends now, right? Setsuna. Of course we are friends. Moroha. And it's good to have a friend like you. Seraphil. Gracious. At that time it would be time to leave Kuo Academy and everyone would head home, but Seraphil would decide to stay a little longer with the Yashahime while Riku and Hisui had fallen asleep. Author's note. Here what happened in the original story would happen, but here the Gremory clan would go to the occult club even though it was very late since Onna wanted to talk to everyone in the occult club. Meanwhile in the occult club the Yashahime and Seraphil were talking about trivial things. Towa. Wow, being a Mayu is very tiring, but the good thing is that today you got the day off. Seraphil. Yep, that's true. Moroha. So whenever you have to fight you wear your magical girl outfit? Seraphil. Yes, because I really like using it. Setsuna. Well, it's good that you have that kind of taste. At that moment, the door to the occult club would open at the same time that the Gremory clan would appear in a magic circle. A few minutes later everyone was discussing something. It should be noted that Riku and Hisui had woken up. Seraphil. And well, that's what's happening. Sona. Well, you see, lately I've received several reports of rogue demons, but when I send someone from my nobility, we always find the rogue demons dead, as if someone had already taken care of them. Tsubaki and I have been investigating this week since this started happening just before Zenobia and Arena arrived to look for the sacred swords Excalibur. We were trying to find out if he was an ally of a faction, but we didn't find anything, so I asked you to come, Rias, to tell you that if you and your clan could try to find that guy. Rias. I'll do what I can. Seraphil. I just hope he's on the side of the demons. Issei. Well, I hope so too. Towa. Moroha, what do you have? I notice you are pensive. Moroha. No, it's nothing, I was just analyzing the situation. Setsuna. Ueki, this is strange for you. At that Seraphil would hit his neck. Seraphil. Ouch, that hurt a lot. At that, Seraphil would get scared when he saw a flea on his hand and, scared, he would throw the flea at a wall and stand behind Issei and hug him by the neck. Seraphil. Ice-chan, a flea bit me, what is a flea doing here? Sona. Sister, calm down. And that Sona would pick up the flea and it was an old Myoga. Sona. He is the old man. Myoga is a flea that always likes to bite people on the neck. Seraphil. But why does he do that? Moroha. That's why he always feeds on blood, but it's desperate. Myoga. How rude you are, love Moroha. Seraphil. I can talk to Ice-chan, please protect me. At that, everyone would break out in an anime-style sweat. A few minutes later everything had calmed down. Moroha. Next time be careful Myoga because she is a Mayu and she can destroy you. Myoga. Yes, sorry about that, Miss Seraphim Leviathan. Seraphil. It's okay. Rias. Well now I think we can go. But in that they would feel a strange presence. Akeno. What is that presence? Hineko Mattel. She is very strange and unusual. Kiba. Besides, it doesn't feel like the presence of an angel or fallen angel. Yama. What could it be? Rias. I don't know but it comes from the forest. Sona. Then let's go investigate. All? Yes. In that, Seraphil and Sona would go in a magic circle of the Citri clan, while the rest would go in the respective magic circle of the Gremory clan. A few minutes ago. On Wave. He was walking through a forest thinking about a certain girl who was a brunette. Wave. I asked if I'll see her again, well I'll look for another renegade demon to kill with my Tigu Grand Chariot. But then something would fall on top of Wave and he would hit the ground hard, causing him to become unconscious. At the moment. In that, two magic circles from the Gremory clan and the Citri clan would appear. Where would she come from? In the Gremory clan together with the Yashahime and Riku and Hisui, and in the other magic circle would Sona and Seraphil come from? Riku. It's here. Rias. Yes, it would be better to split up and search. All, yes President. At that point everyone would start searching until. Hineko Mattel. Presidente, we found something, come see. Then everyone would go to where Kaneko and Mattel were. Rias. And what did they find? Sona. Is a renegade demon. Kaneko. No, on the contrary. Mattel. Look and you will know. At that point, everyone would enter through the bushes and then everyone would look impressed to see a blue-haired boy with a sword lying on the ground unconscious, and on top of him were what appeared to be two girls, but one of them, half of her body was a snake and the other girl was a girl with bird wings and also had bird legs, but Moroha would recognize the blue-haired boy since he was Wave. Moroha surprised. Wave, but what are you doing here and what is that sword you have? Everyone. You know that boy. Moroha. Yes, when I went out for a walk I bumped into him. Sona. But who are those girls and why do they look like that? Seraphil. Sona-chan looks at the girls. In that dream I would see that the girls were injured and that both of them were bleeding from their bodies. Rias. They are very hurt. Towa. And the boy over there is unconscious. Setsuna. What do we do now? Rias. It's already very late, but anyway tomorrow is the weekend, so we'll take them to the club and treat these girls' wounds, and the boy also hit his head, so you and Serafel can leave. Sona. Okay, my clan and I will be here tomorrow. Serafel. Well, for the moment I have free time tomorrow since the faction meeting is coming up soon, but the good thing is that I take care of my work, I will stay with my sister at her house, and I will come back tomorrow. Rias. It's okay. And that Sona would create a magic circle to leave, but before that Serafel would go to Issei, and she would give him a kiss on the cheek, something that would surprise him and make him blush. Serafel. Knows Vimo's Ice-chan. So Serafel and Sona leaving. Issei. It just happened. And that Issei would feel a power that would make him tremble since Rias and Yuma had seen that, but in that Towa would say. Towa. This isn't the time for them to act like this. We need to take these girls to the club. Moroha. Also to Wave. Setsuna. Tell us about this boy later. Rias. It's true, we're going fast. Yuma. If you're not girls you can die. Kaneko. President, why don't you turn these girls into demons? Asia. That's true. Rias. I'll do that after we know about them, now let's go to the club. All, yes President. So everyone would go to the club and leave the girls in a room, and Wave would be left in another room after bandaging the girls' wounds and cleaning some of the blood they had. Everyone would retire to their respective homes since they had to rest because it was approximately 2 a.m. and Yashahime together with Riku and Hisui and Mattel would go to their respective rooms to sleep, but Moroha before falling asleep would say in her thoughts. Moroha. I hope Wave tells me why he has that sword. So Moroha would fall asleep. Chapter 9. Gasper the Bishop, meet Mia the Lamia, Poppy the Harpy, and Wave. Previously Zenovia had joined the Gremory clan, while Moroha met a blue-haired boy named Wave. After that the Gremory clan cleaned the pool, and then had fun, while Towa and Setsuna and Riku and Hisui went to train, and Moroha stayed having fun with the Gremory clan, while Rias and Issei had a passionate moment in the warehouse that was there. After that on Parents' Day, the Yashahime got together with Riku and Hisui, and the Gremory clan they saw Seraph Leviathan, one of the 4 current Mau, but Sona didn't want to see her sister, but with the help of Towa and Setsuna, the Citri sisters solved their problems, and Seraph met the Yashahime and told them that maybe she is in love with Issei, and the Yashahime encouraged her to tell Issei soon what she feels. After that Sona told everyone that the rogue devils were being killed by someone who was not, they knew who it was. After a small incident, they all felt a presence and went to the forest, where that presence was felt where Moroha saw Wave, but they all saw 2 girls who had animal features, but the girls were hurt, so after Serafel and Sona left, and that Issei was saved from the wrath of Rias and Yuma, everyone took the girls and Wave to the occult club, where they treated the wounds of the girls with animal features, and then they all went home and slept. What will happen now? Find out. Press the new intro. The next morning it was 6 a.m. and everyone was in the occult club in front of a sealed door. Moroha. Rias, why did you wake us up at this hour? Rias. It's true you weren't here yesterday, but my brother told me that he will release my other bishop so that you and Riku and Hisui can train him. Towa. And what's that for? What? Rias. Well, my other bishop can't control his power and can easily lose control, so that's why my brother decided it was best to seal him in here. Akeno. Besides the fact that he is the one with the most contracts, he had to be compared to Moroha-san. Moroha. What, he's better than me, but how? Tiba. He creates special contracts with a computer. Issei. That sounds amazing. At that Rias would break the seal, and everyone would come in and see a kind of coffin in it. Voice. What's going on? Akeno. The seal has been broken, now you can come with us. At that Akeno would open the coffin revealing a boy. Author's note. Issei, not being a pervert, would know that Gasper is a boy, end of note. Issei. He's a boy. Yuma. And he is dressed in the Kuo Academy female uniform. Towa. Oh how cute it looks. Riku. You're right, it looks good. Rias. Say hello to Gasper Vladi, a member of my family and my second bishop. Moroha. I still don't understand if you're a boy why you dress in the Kuo Academy girl's uniform. Setsuna. I don't understand that either. Gasper. It's because I look cute. Hisui. Cute, what are you talking about? Akeno. He likes to dress like a girl. Towa. Well, he looks very cute and adorable. In that, just like in the original story, everyone would try to get Gasper out of the room, but they couldn't because Gasper had transported himself to another corner of the room. Towa. How did he do that? Setsuna. It's like time has stopped. Akeno. For Dibin Valor, Brian is her sacred gear, also known as the cursed eye, can control time and space. Moroha. And how will we get him out of the room? Mattel. If he has a sacred gear like that, it will be hard to persuade. Towa. Let me take care of this. At that Towa would slowly approach Gasper. Towa. Hello, your name is Gasper, right? Gasper? Yes, but who are you since I feel a strange power in you? Towa. Well, my name is Towa Higurashi and I am a half-demon. Gasper. Who is a half-demon? Towa. I propose something to you, Gasper, if you join us I will tell you everything about myself, but don't be afraid, I'm here, you have nothing to fear. At that, Gasper would grab Towa's arm and everyone would leave the room. It was already 6:38 in the morning and just like in the original story everyone would tell Gasper that they would help him train the power of his sacred gear, but also with the help of the Yashahime he got together with Riku and Issei, then the Yashahime would tell Gasper about their world, leaving him very impressed and with stars in his eyes. Gasper. Woo, everything in your world is incredible, so you will also help me train my sacred gear. Towa. Of course, I will be the one who trains you since I am sure that with my help you will be able to control your power. Gasper. Thank you old man. At that moment they would hear footsteps and see that it was Wave. Wave. Oh my head where I am that I remember was in a forest. Moroha. Hello Wave. Wave. Moroha-san what are you doing here and who are these people? Moroha. I know you have a lot of questions and we have questions for you too, but we're waiting for other people, so don't worry. Wave. Okay. Minutes later it was 7:05 in the morning and Sona and Serafel and Tsubaki had arrived and everyone was watching Wave. Rias. Well, your name is Wave, right? Wave. Yes, that's right. Sona. Okay, I'll ask you this question and I want you to answer me truthfully. Tell me where you come from. Wave. Okay, you see, it may seem crazy, but no, I'm not from this world Everyone would be surprised by what Wave said. Rias. Actually it's not totally crazy since Moroha and Setsuna and Towa and Riku and Issei come from another world too. Wave surprised. That you come from another world Moroha. Moroha. Yes, Sona. Well Wave, I would like you to tell us about your world and about that sword you have, since if you come from another world, that sword is not a sacred gear. Wave. Okay, I'll tell you everything. And that Wave would begin to tell about his world, about the imperial capital, what the Tigas are, and about how he was part of the Yeagers, a group dedicated to protecting the innocent from the assassins called Night Raid, until he suddenly said. Wave. Well that was what the Prime Minister and the Emperor made me and my colleagues see. Tiba. What are you talking about? Author's note. Listen to the melody for this moment of narration end of note. Wave. Well I met a member of Night Raid named Tatsumi, he told me that I was on the wrong side, but I didn't believe him at the time. Every time I met him, I just wanted him to pay for his crimes. How stupid I was, little by little, both my companions and members of Night Raid died, but the last ones left were me, Ram, General Esdith, and Kurum. She was very special to me, but she escaped that night. I followed her and helped her in her battle against her sister, but Tatsumi appeared again and told me the same thing again, but I couldn't save Kurum and she ended up dying. After I buried her, I saw that the Emperor activated the Supreme Tigu. I was not going to let innocent people die, but even so, Tatsumi finished off the Emperor's Tigu, but he died. At that moment, I realized that I was on the wrong side, but it was too late. Some guards from the Imperial Palace killed me and ended my life. And that everyone would see how Wave was crying and that Moroha would hug Wave while he continued crying. Moroha. Come on, Wave, don't cry, I'm here with you. Everyone would be surprised by what Moroha said and Wave would wipe away her tears. Wave. Thanks Moroha, but getting back to the topic I woke up and I was already in this world since that day, I met many renegade demons and I was the one who killed them and that's all. Rias. Your story is very sad, but don't worry, even though we are demons, you can consider us your friends. Wave. Thank you very much. Sona. You will also receive moral support whenever you need it. Wave. Thanks for that too. Rias. Wave I want to ask you a question, would you like to join my clan? If you join my clan you will be a demon and there will be no chance of you dying. Tell me what you say. Wave would start thinking about that until. Wave. Okay I accept I will be a demon of the Gremory clan. Rias. Perfect you will be a knight of the Gremory clan. Wave. Thank you, but I would like to know about your world, Moroha. Moroha. Okay, I'm sure you'll be surprised. So Moroha, Setsuna and Towa would tell Wave about their world, leaving him very impressed. Wave. I see that you are half human and half Hanyo, meaning half demons, it's incredible. Moroha. It's not that bad. Towa. Don't start bragging. Setsuna. Hey, Rias, where is Mattel-san? Rias. She is taking care of the girls who fell on top of Wave, but apart from that there is the old man Myoga with her. Setsuna. I see. Meanwhile in the room where the two girls were, Mattel and the old man Myoga were reading a book, but then the snake girl started talking in her sleep. Snake girl. CCC honey. Mattel. What are you saying? Myoga. She's talking in her sleep. On that. Bird girl. He is husband. Mattel. She's also talking in her sleep. Myoga. What we do? At that the snake girl would start to move and start screaming. Snake girl. Honey no. Why? Mattel. He's having a nightmare. Myoga. I looked at Mattel-san also the bird girl too. Bird girl. Husband has banned you. Mattel. We need help calming these girls down. Meanwhile in the living room. Everyone was calm until screams began to be heard. Rias. And those screams. Bakeno. She's coming from the room where we put those girls. Kaneko. I think they've already woken up, but they must be having a nightmare or something. Setsuna. We have to go see. At that moment, everyone would enter the room and see the two girls who were moving around wildly while saying the words honey and husband. Sona. We have to calm them down. Tsubaki, I need those tranquilizers. Tsubaki. The good thing is that I always have them in case of emergencies. At that Tsubaki would use the tranquilizers and both girls would fall asleep again. Asia. Now we'll just have to wait for them to wake up. Yuma. But they noticed that they only said the same words. Seraphle. It's true, they only said the words honey and husband. Issei. It's suspicious, maybe something happened to them. Toa. Well for now let's start with Gasper's training. Rias. Good idea. Then everything would happen like in the original story, the visit of Azazel, and then Issei would obtain the Ascalon Dragon Slayer sword, only Akeno would have a great appreciation for Issei as a friend and told him about it. Afterwards everyone would be at the occult club and waiting to see if the two girls would wake up. Akeno. I hope they wake up soon. Kaneko. Yes, because it seems that something happened to them. Rias. In addition to knowing why they were so injured. Meanwhile outside the occult club in the sky was Volley watching the Kuo Academy, but he was accompanied by a girl in a gothic outfit. Goth girl. You're sure he'll be here with those strange girls? Volley. Yes I'm sure office they are the only ones who can give me a fight. Office. Well, I hope it's true. Well, for now I'm leaving. See you. At that point the girl identified as Office would leave and then Volley would leave as well. Back at the occult club everyone was still waiting for the two girls to wake up. Moroha. I hope nothing too bad happened to those girls. Seraphle. I have a feeling that's what it was. Toa. For now, let's wait for Mattel-san to leave that room. Rias. It is also true that today is the great meeting of the factions. Akeno. But it's tonight and besides, it's only 8:30 in the morning and the meeting is tonight. Kaneko. Well, I'm a little worried about those girls. Everyone would be surprised since Kaneko is someone who does not show her feelings. Meanwhile in the room where the two girls were, Mattel was reading with the old man Myoga, but then the snake girl began to wake up until she said. Snake girl. Hey where am I, which is this place? Mattel. Oh, you're awake now. I'm glad you're okay. Myoga. Wow young lady, you're fine, that makes me happy. Snake girl. Hey, but who are you and why am I here? Mattel. Well my name is Mattel and I am a fallen angel and this little one here is Myoga-sama the flea. Snake girl. Well, I don't know what a fallen angel is. Myoga. Could you tell us it's you since you're obviously a snake girl? Snake girl. Well I am a Lamia and yes indeed I am a snake girl. Mattel. And what is your name? Snake girl. Well my name is Mia and I don't know what I'm doing here. Mattel. Well Mia I would like to know where you come from and why when we found you were so hurt. Myoga. Besides that, this bird girl was also injured. Mia. Wait you said a bird girl was also hurt. Mattel. See Mira. At that Mia would look at the bed on the other side and would see the bird girl. Mia surprised. It can't be Poppy-chan, it's really you. At that, Mia would get up with difficulty and approach and hug Poppy tightly. Mia. Daddy-chan wake up it's me Mia please wake up. At that moment, the bird girl, already identified as Poppy, would begin to open her eyes and at that moment, Poppy would see Mia and with difficulty would put her wing on Mia. Daddy. Mia-chan it's you're okay I'm glad you're okay, but tell me who is the girl over there and the little flea? Mattel. Well my name is Mattel and this one here is the flea Myoga-sama. Myoga. It's a pleasure but tell me what you are. Daddy. Well, I'm a harpy. Mattel. Well now come with me because you have to tell me and my friends everything about you and why you were so hurt. At that Mia and Poppy would start to cry. Myoga. Something's happening. Mia. Well, what happened to us still hurts. Daddy? That's why we're like this. Mattel. Calm down, come on, let's go with my friends. Mia daddy. It's okay. By then they would be in the room where everyone would be introduced. Rias. And you could tell me your names. Mia. Well, my name is Mia and I am a Lamia or snake girl, whatever you want to call me. Daddy. I am Daddy the Harpy. Rias. Well, take a seat. I also want to know what happened to you two to make you so hurt. That's where Poppy and Mia would sit. Sona. I know this is very sudden, but I would like to know if you are not from this world. Daddy. From this world. Mia. Well, I think so since this place doesn't look like ours. Serafel. Could you tell us about your world? Mia. It's okay. So Mia and Poppy were telling each other about their world, about the existence of other species, about interspecies exchange, and everything else, until Mia and Poppy stopped talking. Toa. Something happens up. Mia. The thing is, we lived very happily during the whole time we were non-human exchange girls, but until that day everything ended. Setsuna. What do you mean? Daddy. What happens is that it's something very sad. Mia. Now I'll tell you what happened to us. Flashback of Mia and Poppy. Author's note. Listen to the melody until it ends while reading the following end of note. Mia. Everything was calm and peaceful thanks to Esma-san. The non-human exchange girls could walk around the city without having to always be with their host families. Our host family was a boy named Kamito, he was everything to me. Daddy. Well, how I met Mia-chan, well that was because I wanted Kamito-kun to be my host family and he was. After that, he joined Mia-chan and other girls, and we lived together with Kamito. Mia. Everything was happy for us. What I wanted was to marry my love. And so did Poppy and the others. In fact, Smith-san wanted the same thing. Everything was calm until everything changed. Rias. What do you mean? Bekeno. It was that bad. Mia. They will see. Back to Mia and Poppy's flashback. Mia. It was a normal day for me, but I noticed something strange, my love didn't talk to me at all. Daddy. He didn't talk to me either, we both thought it was because he was tired or something like that. Mia. But that night he told us to use another room to sleep, that seemed strange to me, but still Poppy and I accepted, but after that everything would remain the same. Kamito didn't even talk to us or pay attention to us, not even the others spoke to us, but that day came. Daddy. That day everything was lost. Mia. That day when everything went to hell, you'll see. Second flashback of Mia and Poppy. Both girls were walking through the city while watching the other non-human exchange partners interact with the people. Daddy. Mia-chan, do you think we did something wrong for Kamito-kun to stop talking to us? Mia. No, of course not, I'm sure my love is just stressed, that's why he doesn't talk to us, and I also think the girls are busy. Daddy. Well you're right, but we better go back home now. Mia. Yes, you are right. 20 minutes later. Both girls would be about to enter the house, but then Mia would see something running, so she would start chasing it while Poppy was training the house, but once she opened the door, a steel sword would go through her stomach, making Poppy spit up a lot of blood. Daddy. CC Centauria-san, why did you do that? Centauria. It's not obvious, stupid bird, I'm in charge of killing you since you fed up with me and the others. At that moment the other girls would appear, but Poppy would start running with difficulty, but on the way he would meet Kamito. Daddy. Hey husband, help me. At that Kamito would approach but would stop and would stab Poppy very close to his chest. Then a small girl with lanternfish features would appear and she would stab Poppy many times with a knife all over his body. At that Kamito would kick Poppy in the face, causing her to be very hurt. Kamito. Rot you damn bird, I will never be your husband and besides, Mia will also have the same fate as you. So Kamito and the girl would leave, leaving Poppy bleeding a lot. 4 minutes later. Mia was walking until she saw Poppy very hurt and then she approached quickly. Author's note. Once you have finished the other melody, play this one for this moment at the end of the note. Mia. Daddy-chan, wake up, please wake up. At that Mia would see if Poppy was still breathing, and indeed Poppy was still breathing. At that Mia would carry Poppy and would begin to move quickly towards the house, but at that a steel sword would be embedded in Mia's stomach and then some bullets would pass through part of her body. At that the other girls and Kamito would appear and the one who shot was Esmith. Mia. CC honey, why are you doing this? Kamito. Shut up stupid, you're just an idiot, you're disgusting, and it's time to finish you off, girls, finish her off. At that all the girls would start hitting Mia non-stop, making Mia start to cry. 15 minutes later. Suddenly it would start to rain and there was no one there, only Mia and Poppy were injured and doing nothing, but then Mia would approach Poppy and, as long as he wakes up, she would give him a kiss on the lips and then, before falling unconscious, she would see a light below her and Poppy and then fall completely unconscious. End of Mia and Poppy's second flashback. Everyone hearing that would become sad and would see that Poppy and Mia were crying non-stop and then everyone would hug both girls to comfort them. Rias. Now that you're calm with us, you won't have to suffer again, okay? Mia. It's okay Rias-san. Daddy. But what do we do now? Yuma. Why don't you join us? Kaneko. It's true if they become demons they will never suffer again and they will be very strong. Zenobia. And then they accept. That's what Mia and Poppy would start to think about until. Mia Poppy. We agree. Rias. Well then now they will be part of the Gremory clan. After that Mia and Poppy would become demons where Mia and Poppy would be two towers and the others would train them during the few hours left until the meeting of the Seraphil and Sona factions began. They had left to enlist. Several hours later. Everyone was already in the occult club ready to go to the hall where the faction meeting would be and just like in the original story, Kaneko would stay with Gasper to take care of the occult club while the Gremory clan joined with the Yashahime, joined with Riku and Hisui and Mia and Poppy who in the short time they trained already knew how to fight and defend themselves so everyone went to the hall where the meeting would be. While in the distance near where the Kuo Academy is, there would be a man in a strange suit who was none other than Kirinmaru. Kirinmaru. Prepare yourselves Yashahime because I will finish you off and avenge my sister Zero. Thus Kirinmaru disappearing. Chapter 10. The meeting of the factions begins. Previously the Yashahime joined with Riku and Hisui and the Gremory clan they met Ria's second bishop Gasper Vladi after that they learned about Wave and Mia and Poppy who told them about their worlds and what happened to them so the three became part of the Gremory clan and trained in the few hours that remained for the faction meeting. After that the entire Gremory clan, except for Kaneko and Gasper, would go to the hall where the faction meeting would be and meanwhile in the distance Kirinmaru would be watching the Kuo Academy. What will happen now? Find out. Press the new intro. As the Gremory clan walked, they would see Maroha and Wave holding hands and speaking affectionately to each other. Rias. They just met a few days ago and now they're a couple. Toa. As some say it's love at first sight. Setsuna. Yes, and we also witnessed how they confessed their feelings. Flashback. Wave would be training, while the others helped Mia and Poppy train. That's when Maroha would arrive. Maroha. Hello Wave. Wave. Oh hello Maroha-san. Maroha. So you're training right? Wave. That's right, since I can't be too confident, I must be prepared for anything. Maroha. Why don't you take a break, after all you deserve it. Wave. Okay. Then they would both sit on the grass to chat a little and get to know each other better. Without noticing that Towa and Setsuna along with Rias were spying on them. Rias. You guys think Maroha fell in love with Wave? Towa. That's more than obvious, right Setsuna? Setsuna. Yes, it's very obvious. Meanwhile, with Maroha and Wave, they would look into each other's eyes and then blush a lot and little by little they would get closer until their lips collided in a tender and passionate kiss. When they separated they were both very blushing until. Maroha. Oh Wave sorry that's why I got carried away lame-minute. But Maroha wouldn't finish speaking because she would receive another passionate kiss from Wave which would surprise her and make her blush a lot but then she would reciprocate the kiss and then both would separate and then Maroha would say. Maroha. Wave, I know we've known each other for a few days, but what I feel for you I've never felt for anyone else since I never thought about falling in love, but now that I'm sure of this, I can tell you Wave, I love you. Wave. You know Maroha I think the same as you, but now I know what I feel for you, and I love you too. At that Maroha would be very happy and then passionately kiss Wave on the lips and he would reciprocate the kiss. Wave. And tell me Maroha would you like to be my partner? Maroha. Yes Wave, I do want to be your partner, nothing would make me happier than that. Then they both kissed again, showing the love they felt and then they both walked off, holding hands, to continue training. While Towa, Setsuna and Rias were open-mouthed seeing all that. Towa Setsuna Rias. Is really? End of the flashback. Mia. Listen, how long until we get there? Rias. Not much we are close. Setsuna. By the way, it's incredible that in the little time left you already know how to defend yourselves and apart from having incredible skills. Towa. I think the same. Daddy. Thank you for your words Towa and Setsuna-san. Rias. Look, we're here. At that Rias would knock on the door and so everyone passing by seeing Surziches together with Grafiya and also seeing that Azazel and the leader of the angels Michael were there and that Seraphil was also there together with Sona and Tsubaki and that surprisingly Vali was there. Then everyone would settle down. The conversation would continue as in the original story until it was Issei's turn to speak. As a cell. Well, Red Emperor Dragon, what is it that you want? Issei. Well, I just wish that we all be at peace and tranquility and that we can also work as a team instead of continuing to be divided and that I can be with the women I love. At that Rias and Yuma smiled. While Seraph would be looking at Issei blushing while she was thinking. Seraphal's thoughts. Seraphal. Well, after the meeting is over I will tell Ice-chan how I feel about him. I know I can do it. Out of your thoughts. As a cell. Well then now it's your turn, strange girls. Howa Satsuna Moroha. Awaya's. As a cell. Your opinion is required as you far surpass our power, even surpassing the power of the Red and White Emperor Dragon, so tell us what it is you wish for. Towa. Well, we know that we are not from this world, but even so, from what Rias told us, you have been separated since the last war, and that is why my sister, cousin and I think the same thing. Michael. And what is it? Satsuna. An alliance like what Issei had said, to work together and no longer be divided. Moroha. Also make a peace treaty so that everything is peaceful. Towa. That's what we wish for. As a cell. I understand, it sounds like a good idea. Seraphal. An alliance, that would be nice. In that, just like in the original story, time would stop, but those who would not be affected would be the Yashahime along with Riku, Hisui, Wave, Mia, Poppy, and also Issei, Yuma, Rias, Zenovia, Irina, Kiba, Mattel, Seraph, and the leaders in Bali. Mia. What happened because time stopped? Addy. Wow, that's amazing. Wave. Hey, come see what's out here. At that moment, everyone would look out the window and see a group of hooded men. Issei. And who the hell are they? Riku. I don't think they have good intentions. Mattel. Look, they're up there too. At that moment, everyone would look up and see that some headed figures were in the sky as if they were vampires. Seraphal. They are sorcerers. Towa. Sorcerers. Hisui. That's obvious, those guys couldn't do that kind of thing. Satsuna. Something I can't understand is how time stopped. Yuma. That he is not the only one who can control time. Everyone surprised. Gasper. Just like in the original story, Rias and Issei would go after Gasper and Kaneko, while the others took care of the sorcerers. In that Kiba joined with Zenovia and Irina joined with Mattel and Rainer, and the Yashahime joined with Riku and Hisui, and Wave and Mia and Poppy were facing the sorcerers. Mia would whip the sorcerers hard with her tail and then hit them hard. On the other hand, Poppy, with his powerful bird legs, delivered great combinations of kicks to weaken the sorcerers. Hisui, for his part, launched his Hirokatsu, hitting the sorcerers, leaving them severely injured, so that they could later be pierced by the spears of light from Rainer and Mattel. On the other hand, the Yashahime joined with Riku and Wave, and joined with Kiba and Zenovia, and Irina used their swords to kill the sorcerers quickly. Just like in the original story, Ethereal Leviathan was going to finish off the faction leaders, but an arrow hit her left arm. Etheria. Who the hell shot that arrow at me? And that Moroha would appear together with Wave in front of the faction leaders. Moroha. It was me who shot the arrow at you. Wave. Hey Ethereal Leviathan, your opponents will be us. Etheria. You think you can defeat me and my sorcerers? Moroha. Well, look at this. At that point, Moroha would take out her crimson lipstick and then put it on, becoming a Beniyasha. Everyone would be shocked by Moroha's power, and Etheria would be trembling as she felt Moroha's power. Moroha. With this crimson lipstick I become Beniyasha the Demon Slayer. Wave. Incredible, but now it's my turn. The following would happen. Author's note. Watch the video at 0:15 at the end of the article. At that, everyone would look at Wave's armor in amazement. Although Moroha would be blushing seeing her partner in an imposing armor. That's what Etheria would say. Etheria. What are you waiting for, wizards, finish them off. At that point the sorcerers would launch an attack. Moroha. Hey Grafiya-sama, how many portals are there? Grafiya. There are like 20 portals. Wave. Well, what's the plan, Moroha-chan? Moroha. Look at this and you'll know. At that Moroha would scream. Moroha. Take this crimson dragon wave. At that the attack would go towards the sorcerers, but they would return it, but at that Moroha would start to laugh. Moroha. Grave mistake, this will finish you off, take this against the crimson wave. At that point, Moroha's attack would become stronger and would begin to destroy the sorcerers and the portals, leaving all the sorcerers burned to a crisp. Etheria. It's not impossible as they could. But then Wave would give a strong punch to Etheria's stomach, making her vomit blood, and then Moroha would say. Moroha. Goodbye, idiot, bombardment of celestial arrows. Thus the arrows hit Etheria and caused her to die in the process. Later, what happened in the original story would happen, only here Issei would agree to fight Volley. After that Issei would give the final blow to volley and she would scream. Issei. This is my strongest attack, Great Emerald Flurry. And that the attack would hit volley leaving him unconscious on the ground. After that, just like in the original story, Biku would arrive, but he would be diverted by Hisui's Hirokatsu, leaving him unconscious. Issei. Well, I guess that's all. At that Issei would be hugged by Rias and Yuma, but Serafel would approach him a little nervously. Serafel. Edo Ice-chan, I want to tell you something. Issei. And what do you want to tell me? At that, Rias and Yuma would stop hugging Issei, and then Serafel would shyly give Issei a kiss on the lips, which would leave him surprised and blushing at the same time. Issei. Hey Serafel-chan, why was that? Serafel. That was because I love you Ice-chan, and I don't care if you're with Rias-chan and Rainer-chan. I want to be with you because I love you Issei-kun. That's what Rias and Rainer would say. Rias. If it's about you Seraf-sama, we don't mind sharing Issei with you. Serafel. Can I really be with Ice-chan? Rainer. Of course. Serafel. Then Issei-kun, you accept my feelings. Issei would approach Serafel and then give her a tender and passionate kiss, and Serafel would reciprocate, and when they separated, Issei would say. Issei. That answers your question Sera-chan. Serafel. Yes, totally. Everyone would be happy seeing that. But in that something would be about to impact Issei and Rias and Rainer and Seraph, but in that Moroha would launch his celestial arrows to destroy the attack. Moroha. They are fine. Issei. Yes, we are fine. Serafel. But who launched that attack? Wave. Look up. At that, everyone would look up and see a strange man that the Yashahime, Riku and Hisui would recognize, since it was none other than Kirinmaru, the leader of the Four Dangers. Toa. No, it can't be. Satsuna. But it's impossible. Moroha. How is that damn guy here? Mia. Hey, excuse me, girls, you know that guy. Toa. Yes, he is Kirinmaru, the leader of the Four Dangers. Daddy. That guy is scary. Wave. So he's the one they told me about. Moroha. Yes love, but I don't understand why he's here. At that Volley would wake up and see Kirinmaru and he would feel his power. Volley. Albion, that guy has almost the same power as those strange girls. Albion. I know, and I also told you that you would end up losing to the red team and you didn't believe me. Volley. Well, now I believe you. Back with the others. Kirinmaru. So they are here Yashahime and they are together with these demons and angels and fallen angels. Azazel. How does he know about us? Toa. We have no idea. Satsuna. Listen Kirinmaru, if you want to fight us, that's fine, we'll face you, right girls? Moroha. That's right, and this time we'll win. Toa. And I won't let you kill Satsuna this time. At that everyone would be surprised, but that's what Issei would say. Issei. Rias, you and Rainer together with Seraph-chan, go with the leaders, I will help the girls. Rias. But Issei-kun, you could die if you're not careful. Rainer. Serafel. Exactly, we don't want to lose you. Issei. Don't worry, I'll be fine, I promise. At that Issei would give each of them a kiss on the lips and then hug Issei before disappearing along with the others, except for some who stayed there. Everyone surprised. Kaneko-chan, Mattel-san, Irina-san, Mia-chan and Poppy-chan and Wave. Issei. Why did you stay here? Kaneko. Why, we want to help. Mattel. Besides, this is our world and if anyone wants to dominate it, they'll have to deal with us. Irina. Besides, I can't allow anything to happen to my childhood friend. Mia. Daddy. And we love this world that is now our new home. Wave. And me too, besides that I'm not going to let you fight alone, Moroha. Moroha blushed. Thanks love. Toa. Okay then, time to fight. And that everyone would see that something was reducing Kirinmaru's power and they would see that it was Volley. Everyone surprised. Volley. Volley. You gave me a worthy fight Issei, you are a good rival, so now I will help you and your friend sell this guy, of course, if you allow me. Issei. Well then, welcome. Kirinmaru. You won't be able to defeat me easily, I am superior to you. Everyone. We'll see about that, Kirinmaru. At that point, everyone would get into combat stance and be ready to begin the final battle against Kirinmaru. Meanwhile, in the distance, none other than Sessamaru and Jaken would be watching how the battle was about to begin. Sessamaru. Jaken, come on, we have to give them a little help. Jaken. Understood, sweetheart, but one question. When we return, will you go for young Rin? Sessamaru. With Zero dead, she is free already saved, so if that is my answer, any other questions? Jaken. Not only that. At that point, both of them would begin to fly towards where the Kuo Academy is, while Sessamaru had the black pearl in his hand and then said in his thoughts. Sessamaru. I think it's time to get you and your wife Inuyasha out of the pearl. Out of your thoughts. Both would continue flying towards battle. What will happen now? Will Yashahime and Riku, Issei, and their friends be able to win and defeat Kirinmaru? Find out in the next chapter. And well, people of Wattpad, I hope you liked this chapter, and the next chapter will be the final chapter of this story, and I hope you like the ending. Well, before I go, I will recommend some fanfics that I am sure you will like, and they are these. My first recommendation is this fanfic. It's a new fanfic, but it's really cool. Shazam and Zero no Tsukima is the name of this fanfic, and I really recommend this fanfic since it will get more support and sooner or later the other chapters will be uploaded. And my second recommendation is this. Avengers X Boku no Hero Academia is a super exciting fanfic, and Wolf Knight shows off when making his fanfics, and this one together with the other fanfics on his channel that I love is super cool. I recommend this fanfic together with the other fanfics on his channel. And my third and final recommendation is a very incredible one since it was the first fanfic I saw, and if you check the description on my profile, I started watching fanfics at the end of last year, that is, 2020, and well people, this is my last recommendation, and this is the first fanfic I saw, and it is this one. Godzilla fanfic in High School DxD by the fanfictor named The Great Bad is the first fanfic I saw, and thanks to this fanfic I learned more about fanfics and I got more into being a fanfictor. Even though it's not from YouTube, I'm happy to be a Wattpad fanfictor. Chapter 11 and finale. Towards a New Tomorrow. Academia Kuo. The Yashahime joined Riku and Issei, and those who stayed to fight with them were in front of Kirinmaru, who looked at them with a serious look. Meanwhile with the others. They were on top of a building watching how the fight would take place. Zenovia. I hope you are careful, that guy looks strong. Kiba. We have to wait for that to happen. Asper. Well, I hope they manage to defeat that guy. On that. I wouldn't worry so much if I were you. At that, everyone would turn around to see a guy with strange clothes along with a green creature, and these were none other than Sessamaru and Jaken. Surziches. And who are you? Sessamaru. I am the great Sessamaru, and the one at my side is Jaken. Azazel. What is being offered to you? Sessamaru. I just came to give those girls a little help since 2 of them are my daughters. Everyone surprised. Daughters. Asper. Excuse me, Mr. Sessamaru, but which of the girls are your daughters? And that Sessamaru would point to where Towa and Satsuna are. Sessamaru. Those 2 are my daughters. Rias. Now I understand, they are both sisters and they also have a certain resemblance to you. Jaken. Wow, this young lady really deduced it well. Akeno. But I don't understand, you will help your daughters fight. Sessamaru. It won't be what's inside this. At that Sessamaru would take something out and everyone would see a black pearl. Rias. That's a rainbow pearl the girls told us about. Sessamaru. It's not there, it's the black pearl inside here that will help, but for now let's see the fight. At that everyone would look back in the direction of the battle. Back to battle. At that Riku would quickly touch his earring and disappear without Kirinmaru noticing. Kirinmaru. Just give up, you won't be able to beat me. Everyone. Never. Kirinmaru. Well then I'll leave them all dead. Towa. We'll see about that, now Riku love. At that Riku quickly Grafiya his sword to Kirinmaru, making him surprised. Riku would quickly draw his sword and return to the others. Kirinmaru. Damn, I let my guard down again. Towa. Now with that wound we can do more damage. Riku. Besides, volley can reduce Kirinmaru's power so we can have more advantage. Volley. Well then I'll take care of dividing his power, you attack him with everything you have. All. Understood. Me and Poppy would quickly run together with Issei to attack Kirinmaru. On the other hand, Irina would take out her sacred sword and Mattel would take out a spear of light and Kaneko would transform into her Nekomata form. So the 3 would go together with the Yashahime to attack. On the other hand, Wave would activate his armor. And he would attack along with Riku and Issei. So everyone would start attacking Kirinmaru, who despite being injured could fight. Me and Poppy were hitting her hard while Kaneko was throwing Nekomata fire. Mattel and Irina cut Kirinmaru's body, but luckily he could resist those cuts. At that Issei hits Kirinmaru in the face, destroying his mask. Kirinmaru. Maldito. Issei would dodge the blow, and then Wave would hit Kirinmaru again in the face. Afterwards Issei would launch his Hirokatsu at Kirinmaru, which would hit Kirinmaru directly, and then the Yashahime together with Riku would begin to attack Kirinmaru. While volley divided the power of Kirinmaru. Everyone would look in amazement as the boys were fighting against Kirinmaru. And that Towa would remember what she did in the previous battle that she together with Satsuna and Maroha had against Kirinmaru. Then Towa quickly went towards Kirinmaru and with his sword stabbed Kirinmaru where Riku's sword wounded him. Towa. Tomaiso. Riku. Well done, love. Then Riku stabs Kirinmaru in the stomach again and then he gets even angrier and screams. Kirinmaru. That's enough. To then launch an attack on the ground, making everyone retreat from the attack, leaving them very injured. At that Kiremeru would launch another attack, but at that the attack would impact the Black Pearl, causing it to start shining. Everyone surprised. What the heck? And that you would see two silhouettes of a woman and a man. Kiremeru seeing that would only get more frustrated. And that the glow would disappear, revealing no one else but Inuyasha and Kagome. Everyone would look at Inuyasha and Kagome in astonishment since they did not expect that what was inside the Black Pearl were those two people. Inuyasha. We were able to get out of the Black Pearl. Kagome. Inuyasha. At that Kagome would hug Inuyasha tightly and he would reciprocate his wife's hug. At that, the two would look around and look at Kiremeru who had a serious look, but they would turn around and see the boys. Inuyasha. And who are you? And where are we? At that Kagome would see Miroha and recognize her. At that Kagome would start walking towards Miroha while she for some reason did the same. Miroha. You are my mother. Kagome. Yes, I am your mother and you are my little Miroha. At that Miroha would start running while starting to cry and Kagome would do the same and she would also start to cry. Miroha. Mom. Kagome. Miroha. So they would both hug each other tightly while crying. Everyone seeing that would just smile as Inuyasha approached. Inuyasha. She's our little Miroha, she really is. Kagome. If she's frozen, Inuyasha. Miroha. You are my father. At that Miroha would hug Inuyasha tightly and he would hug back and Kagome would join in the hug as well. But at that Kiremeru would have had enough of shouting. Kiremeru. Damn you, this time I will kill you and Sesameru will not save you. Inuyasha. Ha, we'll see about that. At that Inuyasha would take out his steel fang sword. Everyone would be surprised when they saw Inuyasha's sword. Inuyasha. Miroha, those who are there are your friends. Miroha. Yes, and my cousins are there too and one of those boys is my boyfriend. Inuyasha. Kagome. Kwee. Miroha. Yes. Inuyasha. We'll talk about it later. Towa. Well then let's get this over with. Setsuna. You're right, sister. Inuyasha. Kagome, please stay back. Kagome. It's okay. At that point, everyone together with Inuyasha would start fighting against Kiremeru. Everyone was having the fight in their favor since the Yashahime would have increased their power even more. Everyone would continue fighting until Towa remembered something. Towa's thoughts. Towa. I must try to steal his demonic energy. Out of your thoughts. Quickly Towa would go towards Kiremeru and give Kiremeru a cut. Suddenly Towa would start stealing Kiremeru's energy and that would make her sword grow bigger than normal. Setsuna. Was able to steal energy from Kiremeru. Mia. That's incredible. Addy. You're right, Mia-chan. Towa. Guys, we must do a combined attack all together. All. Understood. At that everyone would launch their best attacks. Kiremeru would be amazed since he was about to be defeated. Kiremeru's thoughts. Kiremeru. It's impossible that I'm going to be defeated, but at least I could be with my sister, that makes me happy. Out of your thoughts. And that all the attacks would hit Kiremeru and it would disappear without a trace. At that everyone would fall tired but would get up quickly. At that everyone would approach and quickly Issei would be hugged by Rias and Yuma and Serafel who were happy. At that Volley would be about to leave but not before saying. Volley. Hey Issei, if you need my help and my team, don't hesitate to ask. Issei. It's okay, take care, friend. Volley. Likewise, friend. At that, they would both bump their fists. Volley. I hope to face you again and this time I won't hold back. Issei. I won't do it either. At that point, Volley would retire together with Biku. Later, Kuo Academy would be rebuilt by demons, angels, and fallen angels. Bakeno. We were really able to make the factions unite, this is incredible. Rias. Don't even mention it, but it was Issei and the girls who proposed the peace treaty. Surziches. And it's good that thanks to you we are at peace. Towa. It's not that bad. Setsuna. It's true, we just did what had to be done. Miroha. Besides, it's better for factions to be united than to be separated. Wave. And what will happen now? Riku. That's true. Towa. I think there's something else that needs to be resolved. At that Towa would approach Michael. Towa. Excuse me, Michael-sama, I would like to ask you something. Michael. What do you want? Towa. I would like you to give Asia and Zenovia permission to continue praying please. Michael. Okay. And that Michael would approach where Asia and Zenovia are. Michael. Asia, why Zenovia? Asia, Zenovia. Michael-sama. Michael. Tell me, do you still believe in God? Asia. Of course I still believe. Zenovia. Even though the Lord is no longer here, I still believe in him despite everything. Michael. Then I'll give you permission so you can continue praying. Does that seem fine to you? Asia Zenobia. Of course. Irina. I certainly thought you were a traitor, Zenobia, but now I realize why you decided to be a demon, so I forgave you. Zenobia. Thanks, Irina. Irina. I also apologize to you, Asia. I said many bad things to you, I'm really sorry. Asia. Don't worry, Irina is fine. On that. Inuyasha. Hey, you have to explain this world to us. Hagam. Besides, you Moroha have to introduce us to your boyfriend. Moroha. Well, about that, he is my boyfriend, his name is Wave. Wave. He nice to meet you. Hagam. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm sure you'll make my daughter happy. Inuyasha. You don't look like a bad boy, so I accept you as my daughter's boyfriend. Wave. Thank you very much. Mia. Hey, why don't we go to the occult club to rest, and tomorrow we'll explain this world to Moroha-chan's parents. Daddy. I support your idea, Mia-chan. Then everyone would return to the occult club where everyone would spend the night. The next morning. It was exactly 5 o'clock in the morning, and there was still a little time left until the sun rose. Moroha would have decided to go out for a walk for a while without noticing that Kaneko would have seen her leave, but not only her, but also Wave, who was sleeping next to Moroha, noticed when she got up. At that, Kaneko would leave the occult club in silence, but at that she would see that Wave had left. Kaneko whispering. Wave-senpai, what are you doing out here at this hour? Wave whispering. I should ask you the same thing. Kaneko whispering. Well, I'm going to look for Moroha-senpai. Wave whispering. Me too, what if we both go, after all we're looking for the same thing? Kaneko whispering. Well, Moroha-senpai is obviously your girlfriend to you, but she is my teacher since she helped me control my power. Wave whispering. Oh wow, I didn't know that, but well, we better go find her. Kaneko whispering. It's okay. So both would start walking through the forest that is near the Kuo Academy. Meanwhile, Moroha would be walking, looking at the sky and with a big smile, knowing that her parents never died. But in that I would hear something between the trees, more specifically in the branches. Moroha. Whoever you are, get out of there before I finish you off. On that. Calm down, Naya, I'm not here to fight you, Naya. At that, Moroha would turn to look and see that it was a woman with a black kimono, but something that surprised her a little was that the woman had 2 cattails and cat ears. Moroha. Hey, is your name Kuroka by any chance? Kuroka surprised. How do you know my name, Naya? Moroha. Well, before Volley left he told me that Kaneko looked like a girl who is a member of his team, the Chaos Brigade. He told me her name was Kuroka. Kuroka. I see, Naya, but well, tell me what your name is, Naya. Moroha. Oh well, my name is Moroha. Kuroka. You don't have a last name or what, Naya? Moroha. Well, my mom's last name is Higurashi, but my cousin uses that last name too, but I think that's also my last name. Kuroka. Okay, I understand. Moroha. Tell me one thing, are you Kaneko's sister? Kuroka. Yes, she is my younger sister, Naya, but something you have to know is that her real name is Shirin. Moroha. Shirin. It's a pretty name, but anyway, changing the subject, what the heck are you doing here if you know they can sense your energies? Kuroka. Well, you see, Moroha, Naya, I want to talk to Shirin, Naya, so that she forgives me for everything I did, Naya. Moroha. Okay, I'll take your word for it, but tell me what the hell you want to talk to Kaneko about, and if it's important the rest of the Gremory clan has to know, because maybe then you won't be a criminal anymore, don't you think? Kuroka. I guess you're right, Naya, but I have to tell you that I was keeping an eye on Shirin a little while ago. Moroha. How long ago? Kuroka. Since he met you, Naya. Moroha. It's strange that I've never noticed you. Kuroka. I hide my presence, but well, the reason is that I was watching her so I could talk to her and explain everything. Moroha. Well, if that's the case, why don't you just tell him right away? Kuroka. What are you talking about, Naya? Moroha. Hey Kaneko, I know she's there, come out of your hiding place. Kuroka would have gotten nervous since Kaneko was behind her, but in that tree thing Wave would fall. Surprised Moroha. Wave love, what are you doing here? Wave. Well, I came to look for you, what else would I do? Kuroka. Shirin. Kaneko. Don't call me that. Moroha. Hey Kaneko, don't be rude, she's your sister, and she came to talk to you, so I just ask that you let her explain what she wants to tell you, please Kaneko. At that, Kaneko would give a big sigh and then say. Kaneko. Okay Moroha-senpai, okay, tell me Nisan, why did you kill our former master? Kuroka. Well, you see, Shirin, just after we joined his nobility, I made a deal with him to protect us in exchange for me joining his nobility, and that's what I did. One day, I saw him taking many people to a room. The truth is, I didn't give it any importance, but when I got a little closer, I heard screams of pleading. I got scared and discovered that this guy was doing experiments. Moroha wave connection. Experiments. Hiroka. Yes, I never knew what kind of experiments they were Naya, but I heard that guy would use you for his experiments. Moroha. It can't be. Wave. I hope they're not like some of Dr. Stylish's experiments. Moroha. And who is that? Wave. Long story, someday I'll tell you. Hiroka. But well, I wasn't going to sit idly by Naya, so I ended up killing that guy and grabbed you and started running, since some demons were following us. After that, I left you in a place where they would take better care of you, and after that, in a distant place, I finished off the demons, and since that day I belong to the Chaos Brigade. Kaneko. You left me with the Gremory, but something I don't understand is why I don't remember that. Hiroka. I modified your memory so that you wouldn't follow me, and you wouldn't look for me. I didn't want you to have a life like me. I just hope that you please forgive me, Shirin Naya. At that Kaneko would quickly run towards her sister while crying, and Kuroka would also do the same, and both would hug each other tightly. Kaneko crying. Ni-san, I never knew what you had to go through because of me, so I forgave you, Ni-san. Kuroka crying. Thanks, Shirin Naya, you don't know how happy it makes me that you're by my side. Moroha. Hey Kuroka, why don't you tell Rias and the others, I'm sure they'll believe you. Kuroka. In serio. Moroha. Yes, totally. Wave. In addition to Towa-san being able to use her rainbow pearl to show Kuroka's memories. Kaneko. It's true, don't worry Ni-san, I'm sure Surzich's Sama will prove you innocent. Kuroka. It's okay. Moroha. Well, let's go. It may be early, but we have to gather everyone to witness your innocence. At that point the four would return to the occult club. Hours later. Everyone was already in the occult club and Towa with her rainbow pearl would show everyone Kuroka's memories and everyone saw everything Kuroka told Moroha, Wave and Kaneko. Surzich's seeing that would declare Kuroka innocent and everyone would leave. Kaneko. I guess you have to go now, Ni-san. Kuroka. Don't worry Shirin Naya, I'll come to visit, so don't worry Naya. Moroha. Hey, it won't be long until the sun rises, do you want to go see the sunrise? All. Well, that's fine. Moroha. Well then, let's race on our marks, ready to go now. Towa. Hey, that's cheating. Satsuna. Come back here. Riku Hisui wave. Now this is fun. And all of them they would leave the club as they started running. Issei was holding Ria's hand and Yuma's hand while Sarah flew above them. Author's note. Listen to this song at this moment, end of note. Everyone would keep running as Riku approaches Towa. Riku. I love being with you, my dear princess. Towa. Me too, my beautiful prince, you don't know how happy it makes me that you and I are together. Riku. Me too. At that point they would both give each other a passionate kiss. Meanwhile Hisui and Satsuna would be running and jumping through the trees. Satsuna. You really don't know how happy it makes me to be by your side, Hisui, I love you very much. Hisui. I love you very much too, Satsuna, you are the woman of my life. At that point they would both give each other a tender kiss. Meanwhile, the rest of the occult club would be running around very happily. Tiba Gasper. This is the best. Akeno Asia Zenobia. This is so funny. Meanwhile Mia and Poppy ran with a big look of happiness. Mia. Yaihu, this is the best, don't you believe it, Poppy-chan? Daddy. Yes, it is Mia-chan. At that moment, Mia would remember the kiss she had given to Poppy, and at that moment, Mia would fall on top of Poppy and accidentally give him another kiss on the lips. Poppy would be surprised, but then he would start to reciprocate the kiss and Mia would also do the same and then both would separate due to lack of air. Daddy. Mia-chan, I want to tell you that I really like you and I thought you would reject me because I fell in love with a woman when I am also one. Mia. In fact, I also like you a lot, Poppy-chan, and I also thought that you would reject me, but now you and I can be together and love each other and tell me you want to be my partner. Daddy. Yes, Mia-chan, yes, I want to be your partner, that makes me very happy. At that point they would both kiss again and then say. Mia Poppy. The bear. At that point, both of them would run again to catch up with the others, but Poppy would grab Mia and start flying. On the other hand, Issei would be flying with his demon wings, along with Rias and Yuma, and Seraphiel was flying above them. Issei. I never thought that 3 girls would fall in love with me, but I'm glad they are by my side, I love you girls very much. Rias, Yuma, Seraphiel. We love you very much too, Issei-kun. So the 3 of them would continue flying. On the other hand, Inuyasha had Kagome on his back and he was running alongside Moroha and Wave. Inuyasha. Don't think you'll beat me that easily, I'm faster. Moroha. Ha, we'll see about that, Dad, come on, Wave, love. Wave. Understood. Author's note. Wave is wearing her Grand Chariot armor, end of note. And that Moroha would be in front competing for first place against Kaneko and Kuroka. Kaneko. I'm going to win. Kuroka. I'll be the one who wins Shirin. Moroha. I don't think so, we'll win, right Wave? Wave. Yes we will. At that point, everyone would reach the edge of a mountain and everyone would see that the sun had already risen. Everyone would have a great look of happiness since the adventures they have lived have ended and everyone will go towards a new tomorrow. Towa Satsuna Moroha. This is the best adventure we have ever experienced in the world. Everyone. See. And caller in Colorado, this fanfic is over. And let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.